Alright, we should be live. Hello. Can anybody hear me? I can see there are people watching, but can you hear me? Jillian, hello. How you doing? I'm doing good. Got a huge weight off my shoulders this week, so hopefully I can get back to regular video making sometime soon. And in general, life's just been pretty good. Hello, Buddha. I can hear you. Okay. Hello, Hajun. I can hear you. Okay, good. Right. There's always this awkward phase in every single stream where I don't know if I'm actually live or not, and I don't know if people can hear me. And then there's a second awkward phase where the chat delays a bit, right? Because, you know, chat always has a slight delay, maybe like 20 seconds or so, where I just can't see what people say at all. So I always feel a bit awkward during these moments. Samet, hello. The audio works, it's just really low volume. I can try to get it up a little bit. Let me know if this is better. I don't want it to be too loud. This is the first time I'm here. Oh? Happy to have you here. Is it because of the time change? Because this time I did do it a couple hours earlier. Or like an hour and a half earlier than I would usually do it. So it feels awesome? That's great. I like to hear that. It's perfect now? Okay, that's good. So, how's your day, everybody? How are you doing? Any new exciting developments? Anything good happening? I want to wait for a few more people before we jump into the premise of the stream. So, yeah, sounds better now? Okay. I asked you on Discord. What did you ask? I can look, but I'm not sure if you'll have the same name in Discord. If you have the same name on Discord as in YouTube. I'm first, I clicked Premiere. Yeah, I saw you in chat quite earlier. Like quite before the stream started. Had a fine day and just bought a new Rubik's Cube. That's nice. I can never solve Rubik's Cubes. They're so beyond my comprehension. I can't even do one single side. Oh, AMASD. Oh, okay. Okay, then I recognize you. We've been talking quite a lot. Yes, about the roar cannon. Yeah, the roar cannon is consistently, like, planet star level, you know, that whole debate. So, yeah, that's kind of it. You just have to go into that whole debate. For anybody who doesn't know the context, who isn't on Discord, basically there was a question, when will Boros versus Madara be coming out? Because I said I would be doing that video. So then I answered with, I'm not too sure, I will get it out at some point, but I don't want to get into the collapsing star roaring cannon debacle, whether it's planet or star or whatever. And then, yeah, I thought that was the question, but now in chat I think Julian is clarifying that he just asked me to do the stream earlier today. And I did. I did want to do it in the morning, my side, to completely switch it up, to maybe allow more new people to join. But I kind of couldn't do that. Just didn't work out that way. Doing great right now, that's good. I can solve it. Yeah, Rubik's Cubes are... They're weird. I know there are some people who can like... I've seen a clip of a talent show where a person just goes underwater, solves it almost blind and whatnot, in like 30 seconds and whatnot. Even then, I think Madara wins because Genjutsu. Fair. I'll give my own takes later. Good day, today my mom's brother went to visit me. Motivated me so much. I'm happy he came to visit me, he's so good. He's like my father. That's nice. That's awesome. Hope you get to see him more. Funny enough, yesterday I was at my mother's brother's house having a party with family, with extended family. So that was fun. We ate the dinner was so delayed that we literally ate beef at like 11 p.m. which probably wasn't healthy, but it was very delicious. So that was good. Hello Lexus, Renji. I can solve a Rubik's Cube in about 27 seconds. Oh goodness. Yeah, we're in different dimensions. Just saying Gamabunta over fiction. I remember you, Steven. From the previous streams, from Sage's server. Sage of the Cavs, a Naruto YouTuber. By the way, what are your thoughts on the video idea that I suggested? Can Flashy Flash solo the Akatsuki? I think his speed is superior to theirs, but depending on how you argue the Akatsuki's attack potency and durability, he might not be able to damage them. It depends. I'm finally watching your streams again. Welcome back, Kane Dane. New video when? Actually about probably an hour after the stream is concluded. I have it ready. I just need to upload it to YouTube. It's gonna be a discussion about ranking the S-class heroes from worst to best. So like not in terms of power or anything, but just in terms of how good they are as a hero. I'm still nervous on what Satori is about to do next. I'm not sure what you mean by that. Simon DW asks, remember me. The name does not sound familiar, I cannot lie. I might have you screenshotted somewhere, but I don't remember off the top of my head. So apologies for that. I got to know you from one of TG's streams, been watching ever since. Yeah, that's nice. Hi Satori, hi Baboin. See, that's a name I remember from the last stream, because it's a unique name. Or maybe it's from the comments, I'm not too sure, but I remember the name. Shines says hello. Why did you kidnap my family? Huh? No comment. Yo, Sato, do you know that there is a 92-minute Goku vs Saitama movie that exists on YouTube? I do know, but I haven't watched it. I know the animation is very good on that, from the little snippets that I have seen, but I just sort of stay away from animations like that most of the time. My name and Gemabunta Glaze, too memorable. Can we watch the 92-minute Goku vs Saitama movie on stream? I don't think so. It's a bit long. In general, I don't really want to do reactions. I mean, I could, but I don't know. It's just not really my thing. Baboon is the scientific name of a baboon. Baboons are kind of scary. I had this book as a kid. It was about African animals and stuff. And it had this page on the baboon just hyping it up as a vicious beast and whatnot. I still have childhood trauma, I guess. Hello, Fading. Yasin, hello. Nice to see you here. Steven asks why your dono's off. Because I can't get monetized at the moment. I keep trying, but there's no button to even send my documents anymore. I'll try to figure it out sometime. Don't know if it'll work out. I hope it will. I really hope it will. Yo, Satori, can we watch a 17-minute Saitama vs. Hulk animation? I don't really want to watch animations because I feel like I wouldn't have too much to say. Like, yeah, maybe you could hear me getting hyped over it, but I wouldn't really have anything meaningful to add. If anything, I would probably react to like a versus battle or a discussion about a character or something along those lines where I could at least add my own sort of spin to it, you know, give my thoughts. Just saying Gamabunta can beat a baboon. He probably could. He could step on it. My drawings were scary before I became 18. That name is ancient by comparison. Hello, hello, Mr. Sketchy Mr. Sketchy Sketch. That's a good name. Did you hear about Akira Toriyama passing away? Yes. I mean, it's kind of impossible not to hear about someone of that sort of, I guess, status, you could say, passing away. So yeah, rest in peace. Rest in peace to the father of shonen, as someone has put it. That quote has just stuck with me. Rest in peace to the father of shonen. Like, it's such a good line to sum up what Akira Toriyama was to shonen as a genre. How influential he was. Release Boros over Tatsumaki, high mid diff, my take. I agree that Boros is over Tatsumaki. Personally, I think it's more so like mid to low diff. But yeah, I'm completely fine with your take as well. Oh god, Yasin is here too. I'm so screwed. Why? Simon DW, I forgive you. Baboon over Dragon Ball. I mean, if you subscribe to the take that any real-life creature, or concept, or object should be above all a fiction, then yes. Just saying a big enough manga panel of Gamabunta can choke a baboon. So Gamabunta boundless? I mean, you'd still need someone to hold the panel. But I think we can get into the premise of the stream now. I did say I would do top 10 anime fights. So, yeah, I think we can probably get to that. Sup, Sadri? Hello, Vexer? Right, so, do you guys want to jump into the top 10 anime fights list? It's just my personal top 10 fights. Or we can just do questions and answers, I'm fine with that too. But if you would like to, I have the list prepared. I could also do top 10 anime arcs, but I haven't actually ordered the list yet. I have the list, but I haven't ordered it. I would need to do that on stream. What are some of your favorite games that you've played? Definitely Subnautica. That's the first one, for sure. Just the atmosphere, the the soundtracks and everything. Just so good. Then Minecraft. Just a very peaceful game. Very peaceful, quotation marks. There's a lot of stressful moments in there. And then another one that's just sort of a childhood classic of mine is Astro Avenger or Astro Defender? I'm not too sure. I think it's Astro Avenger. Where it's just a space game, you just go around destroying alien spaceships and whatnot. It's just a childhood classic of mine. So it has to be there by default, because I used to play it all the time as a kid. Sadari, what are your thoughts on my 4D argument for Saitama? I have not actually seen the argument. I don't think so. I don't know what specific argument you're referring to. I do know that a conversation about that took place very recently on Discord, probably like an hour ago, maybe even earlier, but I was busy at the time. We shall watch animations. I don't know. I feel like I wouldn't be able to add much. Sasuke versus Naruto needs to be on here. We shall see. The Gamabunta glazing is worse than you glazing Hades. That last live. Bro, if you think that was glazing Hades, you haven't seen nothing yet. My Hades glaze is far, far more reaching than you could ever know. What are your thoughts on the latest One Punch Man chapter? I'm happy with it because it makes a lot of sense. Because before Blast not knowing about Saitama's strength at all, not noting it, was kind of bizarre. So I'm glad it's getting addressed. I liked it quite a bit. I still think the part where Hellfire and Gale get dunked on is kind of ridiculous. Because they had a hype fight with Flashy Flash, and they were able to react to him and hurting him at points. And now they're just being treated like jokes. Like, it just devalues that fight. So I don't know. It's kind of weird. But other than that, I like the chapter quite a bit. Hey man, what's your take on Golden S versus Sage Centipede? Definitely Sage Centipede in my eyes. I think even Platinum S just doesn't have anything to beat Sage Centipede. Sage Centipede is just way too tanky, has way too good of a regeneration for Platinum S to be able to win. And Sage Centipede couldn't catch Platinum S, but it's just a stalemate at that point. Like, neither one can hurt the other. I also love Subnautica. Hey! That's nice to hear. Fellow Subnautica fan. Gamabunta versus Shukaku is the best fight in fiction. My Wi-Fi is not working. I'm using my brother's Wi-Fi, which is too slow. I'm watching this live at 144p, and it still lags. Yeah, sorry for you. Unfortunate. All Might versus Pain. Pain should take it from what I know, but I'm not too big on MHA scaling, so I could definitely just not know some All Might metas. We shall watch Christian Kember's last Blast versus Garo video. I don't know. Maybe? I haven't seen it. Christian Kember's videos tend to be very long though, so I'm not too sure if I could watch it all on stream. I think the best free mobile... I think I'm the best Free Fire mobile player. I haven't lost a single 1v1 match. And then he throws out a challenge, a public challenge. If anybody want to do this with me, text your UID. Okay. You can. Gojo versus Sukuna has to be on the list. It would be. Hold on. 1 second. I actually need to check back in on the list a little bit because I haven't seen my own list in a little while. Okay, there it is. No, it's not on the list just because I haven't actually read the JJK manga yet. I'm sure it would be if I had read it though. For sure. Thought we were pitching hypotheticals, my bad. Oh, for the All Might vs. Pain suggestion? I mean, it's all fine. If you're referring to that, then it's all fine. I'm keen to answer any questions that are asked. If I'm able to. Hey man, what's your take on Golden S versus Sage Centipede? Yeah, I got to that before. Gamabunta versus Shrek versus Baboon. Definitely Shrek, for sure. Did you not see my Joe Goat versus Boros video? Shrek has insane scaling. How would Saitama versus Blast go? And would Blast be able to give Saitama a good fight? See, the thing is, Blast, in terms of speed, he's able to blitz serious Saitama, which is a controversial thing to say, but it happens on screen. So, It's really weird because it contradicts his own earlier scaling from that same fight. So I'm not too sure what to make of it. But if you want to go with Highball Blast, then he should be able to just outspeed Saitama. But at the same time, he doesn't have a win con. Because Saitama is immune to portals. He can just blast them away. You know, kick them away or punch them away. So I think it would be a good fight, but Blast just ultimately doesn't have a win con. Boros Generals versus Black S, Homeless Emperor, and Acid Ugly. A Homeless Emperor, Black S, and Ugly should take it, because Boros' Generals have very minimal scaling of their own. My favorite mobile app game is the Battle Cats game that is peak, if you know how to play it. I've heard of it, but I haven't played it at all. My top 10 best anime fights are all One Punch Man. Not surprising, Hajun. you were glazing One Punch Man in the last stream hard. Which is fair. We all glaze our favorite stories. Is Meruem a demon or dragon level threat? Should be a demon. I don't think he's dragon. Hunter x Hunter unfortunately just doesn't have that high of a scale. Can we watch Carpet and Alex's Toji versus Garo video? I wouldn't be able to add much to that either, because Toji is a JJK character. I don't really scale JJK all that much. I know some basic arguments, but nothing too crazy. It's not that long of a video. Alright, yeah, so I think we can get into the top 10 fights list then. So let me switch to my streaming. Alright, so first, an honorable mention. This one is not part of the top 10, but it is an honorable mention. It is Levi versus the Beast Titan from Attack on Titan. So, I think pretty much most of us should be familiar with Attack on Titan at this point. The anime for this fight has been out for quite a few years, but if you are afraid of AOT spoilers, I guess you can click off or mute for a while. But yeah, so this is an honorable mention. It is a very good moment. You know, we have Erwin's charge, we have that whole speech right before it, then we have Levi coming in, savagely dissecting and bisecting and completely just chopping the Beast Titan up and cooking him alive, and then shoving a sword into him, and basically just demanding that he surrenders and whatnot. It's a super badass moment. The animation took 4 months to complete for 45 seconds, and it was so worth it. Like, it's such good animation. So this is definitely an honorable mention, because the moments that are top tier, the speech is top tier, Erwin's death is top tier, everything about this fight, and the fact that Levi ultimately fails, that the Card Titan goes in, snatches Zeke up, and runs away, that is such a devastating moment. Like, the Scouts do win, but at what cost? You know, that whole meme. And yeah, just in general, Levi getting to be just this absolute badass, where he just slaughters several Titans even after Zeke escapes. Like, he just decimates all of them and just chases him. And then the second battle is very fun too, with Levi is just the ultimate op for Zeke. He's just his devil, you know, like his Reaper, the Grim Reaper for Zeke is Levi. So yeah, this is an honorable mention. I won't spend too much time on it, but it's definitely here. It definitely deserves this spot for me. Let's check in on chat a little bit. Due to equal interpretation, Gemabunta never took damage in the manga. He lies and blitzes makeup to act normal. To act harmed. Well, the Gamabunta blaze does not stop. Will you do what if Boros' crew attack during the Monster Association arc video? I will probably at some point, but it will just be a one-shot. It won't be too long, because I feel like Boros either gets stomped or stomps against pretty much anybody in that whole arc. Like, there's no in between. He either absolutely demolishes the competition or gets absolutely demolished. So, it's kind of unfortunate, but it's still an interesting topic to think how it could play out. Again, I know what you're planning. Still nervous. I'm not sure what you're referring to still. Can we watch Algorax's How Strong is Garo Terra 3 video after the list? I have not even read Terra 2 or Terra 3 at all. So I wouldn't be able to add anything to that either. You know, it sounds like I'm ducking probably, but I genuinely just don't know anything about Terra 2 or Terra 3. I've only seen a couple panels from Terra 2. I didn't even know Terra 3 existed until someone brought it up on stream. Or on Discord, I'm not too sure. This is the 8th in my list. That's a W, I can respect that. I can respect that, Yasin. Bro, what? That wasn't a fight, that was a one-sided beating. Yeah. I mean, Levi is the strongest soldier of humanity for a reason. Yes, sir. I want to say a lot about why Saitama is the strongest character in all of fiction. I mean, I don't know. I personally do not agree. Amazing fight indeed. I'm more of a fan of Eren versus Warhammer Titan though. That's fire too. A lot of Attack on Titan's fights are very good. The final battle, the Annie battles, all the battles between the Armored Titan and Eren. Or Reiner and Eren, you know, whatever you want to call them. The fight between Eren, the scouts, and specifically Armin versus Bertold is also really good. Who wins Gamabunta versus Beefcake? If you really want to hype up Gamabunta, you can get him to beat Beefcake, but for the most part, I would probably bet on Beefcake. I will get everyone who has seen Naruto to back the Gamabunta agenda. Hey, you are the guy that calls Elder Centipede a fraud. Now, Elder Centipede is the GOAT. Sage Centipede is the fraud. Elder Centipede I love. I love him. He's one of my favorite cadres for no reason. I just think he's really cool. But Sage Centipede, that's a different story. Levi vs. Kenny Screw was pretty good. Yeah, that was definitely good. The animation popped off in that as well, and the narratives. Alright, then moving on to number 10 on the list now. We have Yuhaba versus Yamamoto. Now, if you don't want Bleach spoilers, I guess you can click off now, but it's been adapted into the anime, and it's been out in the manga for a long time, so I feel like it's fine to talk about it. So, there's your warning. I guess you can mute if you want to. But Yamamoto's rage in those scenes, in the anime as well, with all the soundtracks and everything, the way he goes ballistic after seeing the Quincy who killed his vice captain, who he was close to, the pure rage in Yamamoto, and then he just pulls up on Yuha, and he says, I came here to annihilate you, not even to fight you, to annihilate you, to turn you to dust, to ash. And then the fight itself is spectacular. The animation pops off. Yamamoto is just an absolute unit, an absolute beast. Yuha is on the back foot for the entire fight, and then he gets almost chopped in half. The moment with Yamamoto bringing back the dead as well, it's so interesting to see a good guy with such a dark ability. Like, he literally brings back people he killed to serve him and go into one last battle. Like, that is sick, especially for a good guy. You know, quote-unquote good guy, because the Soul Society had a lot of darkness before. But then the twist at the end, with Yuha being revealed not to be the real Yuha, and then with the real Yuha pulling up and stealing the Bankai of Yamamoto, that whole plot twist just made my mind rattle when I was first watching the anime. Because I was anime only before the first Squire came out. Well, no, I read the manga, and then I watched the first Squire, and then I read the rest of the manga. That's how it went. So, yeah, that was a shocking moment for me when watching the anime. And then the way Yamamoto dies unceremoniously, unsure about what the future of his people, of his society will be. It's just so sad. Like that scene where he's standing in the rain, just completely given up, and then he gets chopped in half. Like, oof. Rest in peace. That was a brutal death. So I really like the narratives and the animation and the action in this fight a lot. Let's catch up to chat. When's the next part of When Boros Turned Good scene coming out? It's gonna be probably midsummer. Not the first month, but probably the second one. It's kind of weird that all this time has passed since I learned the English language and I still don't know the months fully. I still don't know the months for some reason. I only know a few. I never bother to learn them. Hype up Gamabunta. Nah, that's downplaying him to beat Beefcake. I won't lie, Sage Centipede is over Boros. I got some agenda. I heavily disagree. I respectfully heavily disagree. Yo, Satri is bang small planetary. He shouldn't be. He should not be small planetary, but if you want to get really edgy, you can get him to that level. But you need to get really edgy for that. But he shouldn't be small planetary. Ah, that's an amazing fight. I absolutely love it. I really love old heads in anime. They remind me of me. Yeah, old guys in anime are just something else. They're just built different. Netero, Bang, Roshi, Yamamoto, Hiruzen, I guess. Yeah, they're just something else all the time. Yamamoto always on business. Hi, Gold Gamer. Yeah, Yamamoto is pretty OP. Yamamoto versus Yuha was very awesome. That Yuha fake out was what Ichigo losing his true Bankai wished to be. Yeah. My favorite villain is Sukuna. I'll say he's better than any Big 3 villain. Personally, I kind of disagree, but I haven't read the manga. I could change my mind later. Yo, Satori, Elder Centipede versus Sage Centipede. I would like to say Elder Centipede, but, you know, it would be very disingenuous of me. Bang is island level? Could be. It depends on whether you lowball or highball. Hello guys, hello Summon. Where should Bang scale? I mean, it's weird, like you can get him... It just depends what meta you go with. You can get him to mountain, island, you can get him to multi-continental, small planetary if you really, really hype him up. Like, it just depends what meta you go with for One Punch Man. It's just sort of how it works out. I subscribe to Universal Naruto because you can get Gamabunta to multi-galaxy then. Kids in anime over old heads. I mean, in terms of power potential, yeah, all the time. But in terms of cool factor, definitely old heads. How is the best new generation villain? I'm assuming you're asking who is the best new gen villain, in my opinion. I would have said Shigaraki a couple years ago, but now he's been dunked on to no end, so I can't really do that anymore. Sukuna is very good, I would say. There are a few others as well. I could use your Bankai to wake the corpses of your men, Yamamoto Shigekuni. Yo, that would be sick. I hope we get to see Yuha using Yamamoto's Bankai. I really hope we get to see that in the anime. By the way, hello Loco. How you doing? Here you go, Satori, and he lists off all the months. Or they. I don't want to assume. Stop the cap, bang is easily large planet level. Lowball. Is AP not DC? Yeah, AP is definitely different from DC. DC is destructive capacity, how much a character can destroy, blow up. AP is attack potency, how hard can they punch, how much, like what kind of level of character they can damage, pretty much. Like for example, if you have a guy that has a knife that can cut anything, let's say, like the knife is universal in attack potency, that doesn't mean that they will be able to destroy the universe with the knife. You know, the knife is still, like, I don't know, table level destructive capacity, but in terms of AP it would be universal. So, yeah. They're definitely not the same thing. They can be scaled to each other to some degree. Specifically, destructive capacity can be scaled to AP, because that's pretty direct. Like, if you can destroy a planet, you're planetary. But then attack potency doesn't necessarily scale to destructive capacity a lot of the time. Is Netero versus Meruem on the list? Maybe, we shall see. Elder loses because he's shorter, and as we know, size matters. My third favorite fight in anime is Ichigo versus Grimmjow. Grimmjow felt like the only character Ichigo actually wanted to beat for the sake of beating him instead of just protecting his friends. Yeah, that's fair. It's definitely a good fight. Not in One Piece, all gen over all. I assume you want to say all gen anime over new gen anime? It's debatable, it's just a preference thing, I guess. What's up, bro? Nothing much, just chilling. Being happy in life. How about you? Garo best new gen villain? No cap. Garo best villain in all of fiction. Satori trying his hardest to explain that AP doesn't equal DC, lol. Right, we can get to the new video now. Not new video, new placement. I read someone in chat said to Loco that they'll watch his video, which you should, if you're interested in Naruto. I'm pretty sure he's dropping a Novito video today, right? I think it could have already dropped, like, during the stream, maybe. Okay, so the third fight is Dio Brando versus the Stardust Crusaders in the finale of JoJo's Bizarre Adventure Part 3. If you're wary of JoJo spoilers, I guess you can click off or mute, but for the most part, this is pretty well known, I think, at this point. So, we have this entire, like, 50 episode arc, where the Stardust Crusaders, the boys, basically, they go around fighting Dio's minions, and eventually they get to Egypt and they face Dio. And Dio's been hyped up to no end at this point. He's a villain who returns from part 1 of JoJo's. He was in part 1, he wasn't in part 2, now he's back in part 3. And he's been hyped up so much. And then throughout the entire fight, people have to literally sacrifice themselves just to figure out his ability. Which is a very fun game of cat and mouse. Like, at first, Dio pulls this weird trick where, like, there's this guy, Polnareff, and he sees Dio in front of a staircase, right? Or, like, up a staircase, and Polnareff is standing at the bottom of the staircase. And this is one of the biggest, like, the most petty and the most troll moments in all of anime. Dio has an ability to stop time. And then, but we don't know that. And so Polnareff tries to climb up the stairs, he takes a step, and then Dio stops time, literally walks over to him, and places him back on the previous step to confuse him. And he just does this over and over again, and Polnareff is just like trying to climb up the stairs and going back down each time for no reason. Like, Dio just trolls him for no reason whatsoever. And then Dio goes into a coffin. They try to open the coffin, and for some reason they find a random minion there because Dio stopped time again, and then they go on a chase scene, and it's pretty chaotic. Like, the way I'm telling it, it probably doesn't make any sense whatsoever, but that's JoJo for you. So, eventually, after like 2 characters have to sacrifice themselves just to figure out Dio's ability, the main character, Jotaro, steps up, and the fight is pretty epic. Like, it's just various strategies, and at one point, There's like a scene where Dio thinks he killed Jotaro, but he's not sure. So he literally, like, he wants to make sure Jotaro is dead, but he doesn't want to come close to him because he's wary of it being a trap. So then he literally, like, puts his ear to the concrete and tries to listen to his heartbeat with his vampire hearing. And it's just hilarious at some points, and at some points he's very menacing, at some points it's hilarious. They go to the sewers for no reason at one point, or Jotaro does at least. Like, it's just this super bizarre fight, but it's also so awesome, and it's the product of immense build-up throughout, like, 3 seasons of the show. And then the way Dio loses in the end is BS, obviously. Like, if you've read the fight, you know what I'm talking about, or if you've watched it. Like, it's total complete nonsense, but it's still entertaining nonsense. And the road roller scene, you know, roda roda da, you know, that whole meme, that's where this originates from. So yeah, overall, this scene is just super wild, and I love it. It's just such a bizarre fight. Alright, let's get back to chat for now. Garo and Sukuna are the best new gen villains. That's a fair take. I wouldn't even call Garo a villain though in the manga. He just sort of doesn't even reach that level anymore. A good example would be Dragon Ball. These people can throw punches with above multi-solar system AP, but somehow didn't destroy anything. Yeah, they can throw punches with universal AP and don't destroy anything. Versus Battles Wiki Kids, AP equals DC. I mean, it depends on how you look at it, but like, yeah, that's just blatantly false. I unironically think Garo is the best new gen villain. He can be. I can respect that. DC gives you feats for your AP, but statements can upscale AP. Yeah, pretty much. JoJo is over. Just everything, I assume. Dio. Oh, my second favorite JoJo fight. Okay, I apologize for this, but I have to do it. Loco in chat said the meme, and I have to say it in the Japanese accent and everything, so this might be very loud. Zawardo! Something like that, I don't know. I'm kind of scared to scream because there's people in other rooms in the house right now, so I don't really want to do that big of a scream. JoJo's Normal Adventure. I meant in One Piece all gen characters over all other characters. Oh, you mean like all characters? Just like all dudes, all gals, all dudes? Something like that? You know, like Whitebeard and everything? I just came from a friend, so what are you talking about and hello? Top 10 anime fights. Pretty much just my top 10 favorite personal fights. Yes, my favorite JoJo fight. Ora 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 ora. I cannot say that loud. Or fast. I can try, but I don't think it would work well. I think Made in Heaven Pucci was the favorite fight. I haven't read that or seen that. Road Roller. I mean, it's called JoJo's Bizarre Adventures. Yes, sir. Made in Heaven's possibly the best JoJo song symbolism. Maybe, but I haven't caught up to that point yet. I've only seen the first 3 parts of JoJo. Personally, I got Johnny versus Funny Valentine on top, but Dio Jotaro is second for me. That's fair. Yo Satori, will What If Boros Turn Good be renewed for a season 4? We don't even know if it's gonna have a season 3. We don't even know that. It's not Araki Forgot, Satori. I got a playlist for you to watch on debunking Araki Forgot. I mean, I'm not sure what you mean by that. I don't think I ever referenced Araki Forgot in any form here. At least not intentionally. Yo, Satori, how many animes have you ever watched? Over 20. Like, somewhere in that range. Gemabunta has Zawardo, but he thinks he's fodder. The memes that spawned from this fight, the best JoJo fight. Also, Dio might be the biggest troll in anime. Dude stopped time, went to a construction site to drop a steamroller on Jotaro. Yeah, that's the thing. They're fighting on a bridge, and there's no construction sites in sight whatsoever. And then Dio stops time, goes to seek out a construction site, picks up a road roller, and then goes back into the fight, and then drops the steamroller on Jotaro. Like, what? Where'd he get that? They're fighting on a bridge with no construction sites in sight whatsoever. Read part 7. I'm gonna catch up to JoJo's at some point, but probably not anytime soon. Not gonna lie, Dio is so real just for messing with people with his power. That's what I would do. Yes, sir. My favorite fight is Villy and Afton versus the karmic consequences of his actions. That guy has a lot of actions that need to be atoned for. A lot of child killings and all that stuff. But that's FNAF for you. Alright, so then moving on. Number 8 now, I believe. Because we had 10 and we had 9. So now, number 8 is gonna be... Spoilers for Black Clover, I guess. But it's been out for a while now, so I think it's fine to talk about it. So, we have Julius Novachrono versus Patri, or Licht as he was known at the time. This is the beginning of my favorite arc in Black Clover, one of my favorite arcs in anime in general, which is the Elf Reincarnation arc, is what I call it. Elf Reincarnation. It could be called something else officially, I'm not too sure. And basically it starts with the big bad of this evil organization, which is basically the Akatsuki or the Phantom Troop or the Monster Association of Black Clover. So the big bad of that organization, he is the same person as the kings, the wizard kings, like the good guy kings pretty much, right-hand man. And they share the same body, but they have two separate souls. And so the human, the general, is very torn between them because he loves both of them equally for various reasons. And then they have very different goals, the king and the big bad, and they're inevitably going to have to fight to the death. So this general sets up their battle, and then it's just this beautiful clash. The animation pops off, the narratives and everything. We get the Wizard King's backstory, which is awesome. Like, he's been searching for a purpose. He finally found a purpose after encountering like peasants and whatnot, and it's just such a beautiful scene of his entire like sort of life story. And then we get the other side of the story, which is Licht, you know, Patri, the big bad, whatnot. And his side of the backstory is that humans pretty much killed his entire race, right? Like, they pretty much slaughtered everybody he knows and loves. And so they both have very real motivations for their actions, and they both battle it out in this spectacular battle in this beautiful sunset sky environment, and the animation just pops off, the narratives just pop off, the characters just pop off, and in the end the Wizard King proves to be too much for Patri to handle. So what he does, the big bad Patri, he throws an attack at the entire kingdom. He covers the king's entire kingdom with spears of light and threatens to kill literally every single person in the kingdom. And then the king has to stop that. He uses up all of his magics to stop that. And then the big bad, using that as an opportunity, as an opening, he stabs the Wizard King. And the scene that plays after this, like, there's this super dramatic music. And then Patri just says, "You're invincible, Wizard King, but you do have one weakness. You're the Wizard King. You have to protect these people." And then just that line, the look in the king's eyes, the look in the eyes of Yami, which is a captain that just got there, to witness the end of the fight, to witness basically his father figure dying. It's just such a powerful moment. It's so good. So this has to be at number 8. This has to be on the list for me, for sure. I love this fight so much. Alright, let's catch up to chat. Quite a bit. It's quite a bizarre fight. Sorry, what are your thoughts on fried chicken? I assume you mean it's like... when it's like French fries? Like when you just dip the chicken in the oil and whatnot? Like, is that what you mean? I haven't actually had that. Well, no, I probably have had that, but I haven't had that in years and years. I kind of... like, the last time I ate fast food was like 2 years ago, probably. Yo, Eternal Flame, hello. You a FNAF fan too? To some extent. I watch Game Theory. that's pretty much the biggest thing. I've rewatched the early FNAF theories from Game Theory tons of times though. I imagine Dio and Reverse Flash teaming up. Oh, that would be a wild combination. I don't know Reverse Flash too much, but I know he's petty as heck. How you doing, Eternal Flame? I'm chilling. How about you? If you're caught up on Black Clover, Julius gets insane later. I know a little bit, but I haven't read the manga. I couldn't get into it because it was too fast for me, coming from the anime. Like, the pacing was just so fast. Eternal Flame, Satori, do y'all plan to collab anytime soon? I mean, we could, definitely. We have collabed a couple times. We had one video on my channel on Gon and Killua versus the Phantom Troop Gauntlet. And then we have, we did have a recording for our top 15 strongest Hunter x Hunter characters for his channel. I don't know where that went. But it's all fine. You know, it just sometimes happens. Like, I have recordings with people that I just sort of never got around to. The Elf reincarnation fight has my favorite villain in Black Clover. What would be stronger, Boros at the end of What If Boros Turned Good doing the collapsing Star Roaring Cannon, or the collapsing Star Roaring Fist? Oh, definitely the end of series. Definitely the end of series Boros, for sure. Like, a regular... okay, I'm not gonna say anything. I don't want to spoil too much. The king shouldn't have lost that fight, though. I mean, it's logical that he did. He had to raise up his arms and protect the entire kingdom, and while he was doing that, Pachru uses that as a distraction, and then he stabs him through, so I think that's pretty logical. I really want to see Broly getting a legendary form, like Rui or Ultra Ego. Broly legendary form over Beerus low diff. Maybe. We'll see. Same, I only know FNAF through Game Theory, lol. Yeah. I mean, I think that's pretty much like half the fan base at this point. Like, I know most of the FNAF fan base hasn't even played the games at all, they just watch theories from various people. Y'all should collab on Flashy Flash versus Kashimo. That could be fun. I'm still editing it, not gonna lie. Finding Hunter x Hunter panels and backgrounds to make it is pain. Yeah, for sure. Hunter x Hunter is the most painful series to do videos on, because I'm just not familiar with the manga nearly as much as I am with, say, Naruto or One Punch Man. Like, if I want to get a scan, I have to go through like an entire chunk of the manga just to find it, because I don't know where exactly it is. I watched hours of theories without ever playing FNAF. Yeah, that's exactly it. What are your thoughts on MatPat leaving? Let him rest. Dude grinded for 10 years, 11, what, like 11 plus, 12 plus years for weekly uploads for that amount of time is a absolute oof. Oof. Let him rest. Let him have his family time, dude. That scene though at the end where he meets with Scoth Coffin for the first time, that was pretty good. That actually hit me in the feels. Because it's like, he's been going insane for 10 years about FNAF lore, and now he finally gets the answers. So, yeah. I meant the end of Season 1, but thanks for dropping the spoiler. Oh, you mean like end of Season... Wait, what do you mean? Like end of Season 1, Boros throwing a collapsing star roaring cannon or a collapsing star roaring fist? I mean, they would probably just cancel out. It's the same thing. I guess you could say the fist would cut through the cannon since it's more condensed into a single area, I guess. MatPat is still on GT Live, he ain't fully gone. Man has my respect. Yeah, exactly. He's also still revising scripts and stuff like that in the background too, so it's not like he's gone for good. When is your next vid releasing? Probably about an hour after the stream, actually. What are your thoughts on Google's definition of a loser? I'm not even sure what Google's definition of a loser is. Have you seen the Sage Centipede vs. Garu rewrite? Me and Sage did. It's on Discord server. Yeah. I haven't seen it yet. I haven't checked it out yet. I have to do it sometime though. Sorry. If he did fully retire, I would respect it. I have to give him credit for how I do videos in my theory style. Yeah, I know you do many theory style videos. I can't really watch them because I'm not caught up to the JJK manga, so sorry about that. But yeah, MatPat is definitely very influential, and even if he just fully retired, we should all respect that because he's been grinding for 10 years, weekly uploads. That is absolutely insane. Is MatPat out of reversal? Yes, he is. Yeah, the insanity ending is the best. Oh, bro, the insanity ending was perfect. I still prefer the lore ending for MatPat, but the insanity ending was also so good. What if Boros turned good being renewed for a potential season 5? Maybe in 100 years, who knows? Will One Punch Man fights be in the list? Yes, there will be one. I should have mentioned I'm not allowing multiple fights per anime. But I don't think the list would change even if I did allow that. Now, it would change slightly because there would be multiple fights from Record of Ragnarok on the list. Which, we will get to that. Hello, we good? Alright, so let's get to the next pick in the fights list. We'll rearrange it just a little bit so we can fit these in better on screen, fit the images in better. Alright, so that was number 7. No, that was number 8. That was number 8. Now, number 7. This is gonna be a new gen fight, but it's really, really good. It's from MHA. It is All Might versus All for One. This is from before MHA went down into the dumpster. This was peak MHA, back when it was in my top 10 favorite anime. And this fight is absolutely brilliant. We have All Might, who is the symbol of peace, obviously. And then we have All for One, who's the devil, basically. And All for One's introduction is so good right off the bat. We just have several pros there. And then All for One just shows up and starts clapping for the pro heroes, right? Like he's like, "Oh, you're doing a good job, everybody. You're really rounding up my squad right now. You're really bullying them." And then the heroes try to restrain him, And then he just instantly one-shots a group of pros like nothing. And then he's like, yes, Besgenist. You're quite skilled. Not worthy of me. I'm not taking your quirk. And then the kids on the side, there's like the students on the sideline, you know, Midoriya, Shoto, and whatnot. And just the presence of All For One scares the heck out of them. Like, they're straight up paralyzed and feel like they're about to die just from the presence of All For One. And the theme music starts blasting through the screen. All For One's theme is top 10 soundtracks in all of fiction for me. It's so good. And this introduction is just brilliant for the big bad. And then All For One, no, not All For One, All Might comes in. And they duke it out at first. It's kind of tame at first, like they're just throwing each other around, kind of. And then finally the students get involved. They get Bakugo out of there, which was kind of a hostage in that situation and was holding All Might back. So now All Might can go, not all out, but he can be less restrained, because there's still people around the area, but not as close. And then the whole fight, the smack talk from All For One. And then he's like, yes, you know where I last heard these words, All Might. It first from your mentor, Nana Shimura, and look where she is now, in the grave. You know? It's just like, yes, I'll show you where the fools go. They go to the grave alongside Nana Shimura. He just starts taunting All Might so bad. And he's like, yes, Tomura Shigaraki, you know, your main villain of the series, pretty much. Yeah, he's your mentor's grandson, you know, deal with that how you will. he just casually drops these mentally shattering reveals to All Might and just absolutely decimates him mentally. And then seeing All Might try to overcome that grief of him and whatnot. And then in the final clash, finally, All Might goes full Deku mode, and then he takes inspiration from his student, and he ends up winning the fight that way. He fights smarter, not harder, and then he ends up winning because of that. If he fought the way he usually does, All For One would have straight up won. So, in the end, the fight is spectacular animation-wise. The narratives, the reveals, the characters, everything just works out so well. And so I feel like for all these reasons, All For One versus All Might is an absolute classic, and definitely deserves to be on my top 10 fights list. Alright, let's see. The Wild and Us. Have you watched Gintama Toilet Battle? I have not. I don't know what that is. I know Gintama, but I haven't watched it. Weekly uploads for 13 years. Yeah, MatPat was insane with that. Yo, Sadari, what are your thoughts on Raikage A versus Atomic Samurai? In speed, they should be pretty relative. I feel like Atomic Samurai could actually be faster. And then attack potency is weird in durability, because Naruto, you can either lowball them and get them really low, or you can highball them to like multi-continental, so it's kind of weird with that. Depends on what AP you go with. I'm honestly indifferent, like you can go with whichever one. I just go with the one that's more interesting for videos, to make the matchups more interesting. But you can go with whichever one you prefer. So either Atomic Samurai just outspeeds and one-shots, or Raikage A just gets outsped but he cannot be damaged at all, and then just eventually outstaminas. All Might be that fraud in the villain's introduction. Nah, like, All For One wasn't a fraud at that point. He's a fraud now. He's a complete joke. Everyone is a joke at this point. Like, I'm sorry. Like, okay, maybe I'm being too harsh, but I really don't like modern MHA. But back then, he was the deal. He was him. I really hate the rematch. It kinda tainted their legacy. Like, WTF, you tell me All Might doesn't even need his quirk to fight Fraud for One? Yeah, like, modern MHA is meh at best for me as well. Amazing fight, the United States of Smash, Chef's Kiss, the Fight Man. How these two falling icons of heroism and villainy and fell on each other in the very end. Yeah, they're like these two monoliths of the past, where like they were titans basically, who just carried the entire society on their shoulders, like their respective sides of society on their shoulders. So yeah, they're just, that fight is just a huge titanic clash, pretty much. And then they relinquish their titles, pretty much. They both pass on their legacy, or at least that was what was supposed to happen. But you know, whatever. It was Saturday Atomic Samurai versus Bomb. Personally, I've got Bomb. I did cover that somewhat in my top 20 strongest characters in One Punch Man video. Could you tell me every One Punch Man character that could escape a black hole? I mean, probably Saitama, Cosmic Garo, God, Blast. Boros is debatable, maybe not. But everyone else just kind of gets sucked up. Maybe Blast Crew or Empty Void could escape as well. We shall see. MHA built up too well and the author's declining health led to a disappointment. I'm not too sure about the health. Like, I'm not too caught up with the author of MHA. In general, I haven't been following it for a little while now. But yeah. Alright then, moving on. Next up, hold on, let me have a drink first. I've been talking for a minute. Yeah, we've been going for an hour already. The part where All Might pointed to the cameras to symbolize that it's Deku's turn was great. Yeah, for sure. Mangakas try not to get an untreatable illness before the end of their manga challenge in possible difficulty. Yeah, it's sad but true. Just, like, I assume it's mostly because of the working conditions are pretty awful. Like, you have to grind out chapters every week. Can Tatsumaki get past infinity? Probably, because we never see her psychic powers traveling at all. They just sort of spawn on the target. Jiraiya versus Bang. In speed, Bang should definitely be faster, but then in AP, again, it depends on where you scale Naruto. He could either be massively stronger than Bang or not. But if you upscale Bang as well to like multi-continental or small planetary even, then definitely Bang would win for sure. If you want to be edgy with him. Alright then, number 6 now, I believe. 10, 9, 7... No, 8. Yeah, it's 6 now. So, number 6 is gonna be an absolute classic here. We have Goku versus Majin Vegeta from the Buu Saga. Now this fight... Do I even have to explain it? Do I even have to? So Vegeta gets this huge regression of his character arc, and the way he justifies it, the speeches, the powerful speeches that he gives to Goku throughout this fight are amazing. You know, you may have broken my body and my spirit, but there's one thing I say and always keeps, his pride. You know, all that good stuff. You get him talking to Goku about what he means to him, like what Goku's entire existence means to Vegeta and how it literally like hurts his soul. And you just get this amazing battle with beautiful choreography, beautiful animation, beautiful character work for Vegeta. And the whole fight is brutal with beatdowns and moves galore, and Vegeta tries to stab Goku through a spike. Goku uses rock like boulder gauntlets to punch Vegeta. The scene where Vegeta pins Goku to the wall and he's like, "Now I shall tear you limb from limb, just like you tore apart my pride." They're so powerful, the entire scenes. And like TFS put it in their ranking of Dragon Ball fights, Vegeta always complains about Goku and how he like hurts his soul and whatnot. But here we get to actually see what that means to him. And in this fight, also makes Vegeta's eventual redemption, you know, the final explosion and then the "you're better than me" speech even greater. The only thing I'll say is that Goku not using Super Saiyan 3, you know, kinda... cheapens it a little bit, but, you know, it's alright. I don't pay that too much attention. But yeah, this fight is an absolute classic in anime. So, yeah, I have it here. I like it a lot. Alright, let's catch up on chat. Griffith versus Guts. I haven't read Berserk, but I intend to sometime. Prime Bang and Bomb versus Monster Garo. Depends on which version of Monster Garo. I would say, like, if you give them their prime bodies along with their old skills, like old man skills, you could probably get them to, like, perfected Fist Garo, maybe. But then anything more than that, I feel like Garo just definitely wins. With Boros' speed, he would probably be able to escape a black hole, but he forgot Glory Babas. Yeah, Glory Babas escapes no difficulty, but Boros is debatable, I would say. All Might coming back low-key ruined the Deku being told he can't be a hero. Yeah. In general, current MHA is ruining a lot of past MHA. I just pretend that Dabi and Shigaraki just killed everybody at the end of the first war, and that's it. Story over. We have a masterpiece. Drawing is hard. Yeah, definitely. Video idea, what if Bang and Jiraiya swapped fights? Bang versus Pain would be awesome. That could be pretty sick. That would be very interesting, actually. This is my favorite fight in Dragon Ball. Yes, for sure. Wait, what? I just said yes. Yes, your fight is this one, for sure. Just asserted it. Sorry. No. Yeah, I can definitely respect that. Mine too. All it needs is TFS dubbing. TFS did some of the dubbing for it. Bro, that TFS line where it's like, I go to Krillin's movie nights. Look, listen to me. I'm using his goddamn name. He's admitting that, like, him using Krillin's name is a crime in his eyes. Can we watch a Dragon Ball fan series, Dragon Ball Deliverance? I've not seen that, but I'm not, like, I don't know if I want to do reactions on stream at all. Maybe someday, but not today. Favorite fight, doesn't matter. Watched this in Kai while I was 2.5 years old, still remember it. Peak fight, I don't think anything can compete with that. And the final explosion afterwards. Yeah, they're really good. The final explosion, this fight as a whole, definitely very good. The whole build-up to it as well, well, maybe not the build-up, but the stuff that comes before this, with Vegeta blowing up the stadium, that goes hard as well. That goes so hard. Still remember the final explosion to this day, 20 years later. You know, there's this really cool ASMV, I don't know if it's still up, but if you search up Vegeta The Way, it should probably pop up. It's like a 7 or 8 minute, not a montage, but like an AMV pretty much. And it's a very good AMV. Tengen versus Gyurotaro. I either don't remember that fight or I haven't read it. I'm not too sure. Oh wait, no. I'm sorry. I heard Tengen and I thought of JJK. You mean Demon Slayer. Tengen versus Gyurotaro, upper 6. Okay, that's a very good fight animation-wise. And there's some good stuff for Gyurotaro and character-wise as well. Like, it could probably make my top 20 or 30 fights list. It's still a very good fight. What about UI Goku versus Moro? How would you list this fight? Oh, not even top 100 probably. I don't really care for Moro, for the most part. What disaster level would JoJo villains be? I don't really scale JoJo, but they all have like light speed scaling, I think, so they have to be at least demons. At least in terms of speed. Are you okay? Yeah, just gumdrops and rainbows. Ah, sweet. I'm surrounded by idiots. I thought you were surrounded by gumdrops and rainbows. The TFS reference. By the way, it's gumdrops and ice cream, not rainbows. Dio and Yamamoto looks like they're the ones fighting each other, lol. Actually, yeah. Now that I look at it. If you equalize their stats, that would actually go really hard. Like Dio the troll versus the overly serious old soldier, that would go hard. If you equalize the stats. Garo versus Janemba. Janemba should win for the most part. Cosmic Garo might have a shot. Depends on where exactly you scale Janemba. Kurobas doesn't need to escape a black hole. He destroyed it with a stare. Facts. Vegeta is the prime example of nah, I'd win. Yep. Nagato and Itachi versus One Punch Man Gauntlet. Shigaraki and Deku versus Naruto Gauntlet. I don't scale MHA per se, but Itachi and Nagato versus a One Punch Man Gauntlet, I would like to do that sometime. Maybe versus the Monster Association or something like that. Moro is just a lame Majin Buu. That whole arc was mid. I kind of agree, to some degree. Not entirely, though. Prime Netero versus Adult Gon. I have a video on Alt Netero versus Adult Gon. I think it's debatable, so Prime Netero I think should win for the most part. Vegeta the GOAT. In Z, yes. In Super, not too sure about that. How strong would Chimera Ants turned into Upper Moons would be? I'm not too sure, because I don't scale Demon Slayer, but from what I do know, I think they would be stronger than the actual Upper Moons, especially the Royals and Meruem. I'm making that right now. I'm making Dio versus Yamamoto. Yeah, that's good. That's sick. I'd like to see that in your style. As long as you don't do this, then your chance of winning goes up by 90%, and it's the thumb pose. Yep. Markiplier versus Madbat, where do you scale? See, Markiplier is at least Solar System Plus. If you highball, you can get him to multi-galaxy. But Madbat is universal lowballed, so I think he wins. Alright, then moving on. So that was number 6. Now, getting to number 5. This is a pretty big one. So, number 5 is gonna be Pain versus Jiraiya from Naruto. My favorite fight in Naruto, which probably an unpopular pick for a favorite fight in Naruto. But to me, this is everything a Naruto fight should be. So, Jiraiya gets wind that the leader of the Akatsuki, this criminal organization that we've been fighting for 100 episodes, resides in the Rain Village, which is one of the most badass settings for a fight ever. It's like this labyrinth, this maze of pipes, and it's such a cool setting for a battle. And it's so strategically good as well because it allows the characters the chance to strategize and to create ambushes and whatnot. So I think the setting is already spectacular. And then he goes in. The setup for this fight is amazing. Jiraiya, just in case he dies, he does some preparations and then goes in. He gathers intel about Pain, and then he learns that, like, Pain is basically a god to these people. And then he's like, oh, this guy killed this other guy called Hanzo, which bodied me in the past. Oh shoot, this is actually serious business. So then, one of the Paths of Pain pulls up. Pain is actually 6 bodies in one sort of guy. That doesn't sound good, but it's basically one guy in 6 bodies, controlling 6 bodies. So one of those bodies pulls up, and then you have this huge narrative through line with Pain actually being one of Jiraiya's students, and they have this philosophical conversation, which is good, you know, good Naruto stuff. And then the fight begins. And then Jiraiya is being pressured, he starts to figure out Pain's abilities one by one. He starts getting curious why Pain isn't using anything other than summoning jutsu and whatnot. And then Jiraiya reveals Sage Mode, which is pretty much one of the main power-ups of the series. And this is our first introduction to it. He bodies the animals of the animal path, which is the path that he's fighting currently. And then Pain legit summons 2 other bodies. And at that time, we have no clue what's going on. It's like, what, this guy with these supposedly legendary eyes, 1 in 1,000 years and whatnot. Now there's 2 more guys with those same eyes and like orange hair and like this piercings and resemblings. Like, what's going on here? And then Jiraiya fights, he gets kind of bullied, and then he retreats, he does an ambush, and then, you know, the strategies go through. He and 2 of his companions, they sort of discuss Pain, peak Naruto action, because, you know, strategies in Naruto are very, very big deal in their fights. And so there's this massive gambit that they do with Genjutsu, and they eventually succeed, and they trap the 3 paths and kill them. And it's this emotional moment, like, okay, Jiraiya just killed his student. And then he starts walking away from the 3 bodies, and then a 4th body appears behind him, and he's like, "Didn't you teach me to never let my guard down, master?" And then he punches Jiraiya's arm off, punches him out of the building, and then 6 of these guys pull up. And the 3 Pains that were dead are now revived, and they're just standing alongside of the other 3 paths. And then it's just 6 paths, and you just have no clue what's going on. And then Jiraiya just goes ballistic. He's like, "What the heck are you?" And then Pain delivers one of the coldest lines in all of fiction. He just says, "We are Pain. We are God." And then he jumps Jiraiya with all 6 bodies. And then Jiraiya is just fighting for his life. And eventually he gets one of the Pains into a barrier. And there he finds out even more stuff. More questions arise, because it turns out all of the people, all of these paths, are people that Jiraiya met in his past, and all of them are dead. And you're just wondering, like, what does that mean? What the heck? And then Jiraiya dies, one of the most iconic deaths in the entire, like, not even genre, in the entire, like, what do you even call anime? Like, the genre of anime doesn't really work. In the entire medium of anime, pretty much. One of the most iconic deaths. And the final message that he delivers, the trust he leaves in Naruto, and this entire fight is just mystery after mystery, hype after hype. We get to see the leader of the Akatsuki, this guy that's been being built up for like 100, 200 episodes. We finally get to see him, and he does not disappoint. He is an absolute badass with weird, mysterious powers and 6 bodies and whatnot, and it's just like, this is such a banger fight. I love it. I love it so much. Like, honestly, now that I speak about it this much, I think it could go to number 4. It could be number 4 on the list. I love it a lot. Now let's get back into contact with chat. Let's see what you guys think. Saturday Prime Netero versus Meruem, base Meruem. Probably Netero. In his prime. I feel like he could pull it off. How strong is Battle of God Super Saiyan Goku? I mean, at least above Universal, because he threatened to destroy the Dragon Ball Macrocosm, which is numerous universes in one, so definitely at least that strong. Jogoat versus Shrek. We already saw that fight take place. It's probably my top 15 fights in anime. So yeah. I wouldn't take it over Naruto versus Pain. It was just the superior version in all honesty. I disagree personally. But it was a good fight. It was definitely top 5 fights in Naruto. But I wouldn't claim it as the superior version or anything like that. I disagree. Markiplier scales above characters like Darkiplier, who can destroy a 5th dimensional world. Also, as the king of FNAF, he scales above Universal Purple Guy. I'd have to look into Markiplier's lore a bit more then. Sorry. Current Jogoat versus Shrek. Current Jogoat hasn't really shown anything that puts him on Shrek's level just yet, but maybe he will in his new novel. Anyway, gotta go now. Bye, Sadari. Goodbye, Julian. It's a goated fight. Pain talking crazy the entire time, and Jiraiya's failure complex with Naruto. Start of series failure complex and his final resolve to help Naruto take it from here. Yeah, for sure. It's such a good fight. Narratively, character-wise, everything just goes so hard. If you stream again at this time, I will be there. Okay. I will try to stream at this time again. A Dio versus Yamavid would actually be good. I would definitely watch it. I mean, equal stats I would have to do. But yeah, that would be fun to see play out. What anime character would have the most and best use of the Rinnegan? Full potential. Honestly, like, this might be boring, but Tobirama or Minato could make great use of it. Itachi could make great... Itachi probably not, because he has bad stamina, but Minato or Tobirama could definitely make great use of it with their intelligence. Imagine, like, someone like L with the Rinnegan from Death Note. Imagine that. How cool that would be. He wouldn't have that many uses for it, but he would be able to bring its full potential out for sure. I imagine even someone like Goku. Goku is very fight smart, so he could make great use of the Rinnegan. Piccolo with a Rinnegan, could you imagine that? Who else? Could be Garo with a Rinnegan. Yeah, something like that. Like, those are some characters that I think could handle it very well. Jiraiya had a skill issue. Nah, it's just kind of... He couldn't have won regardless. Jiraiya will always be remembered for the saddest death and the worst jumping. Yeah. I wouldn't say the saddest death, but definitely one of the saddest. Second favorite fight in Naruto, probably. My favorite is also my biggest hot take. Naruto, Sasuke, Sakura, Obito, and Kakashi versus Kage. It's a good fight. It's definitely a very good fight. It's just like the setup for it is kind of not there. But in terms of like actual fight, yeah, it's very good, I would say. Final Demon Slayer fight will give you emotions you never felt before. Maybe. We'll see. Currently drawing you would like / love. If you know, you know, Sadari. I hope you're drawing Hades from Record of Ragnarok. That's my first thought. I am back. Yo, hello Julius again. Sadari, what are your thoughts on omelet? I like omelet. I can eat it. I like it, it's delicious. Haven't eaten one in a long time though. Actually, now that I think about it, I probably haven't eaten an omelet since kindergarten. God damn, I need to get an omelet. I remember liking them a lot. Why have I not eaten one in such a long time? What are your thoughts on Cosmic Garo versus adult Naruto and Sasuke? Depends on how you scale Naruto and Sasuke. I don't want to seem like I'm giving cop-out answers with just repeating the same thing, but like really... I've seen so many Naruto metas at this point that I'm honestly just pretty much indifferent. As long as you scale them at large planetary or above, I'm fine with anything. You can scale them to large planet, you can scale them to multiversal. I literally do not care at this point because I've just been so... I've been in this for so long now and I'm so sick of it. for the scaling of the top tiers in Naruto. So it just sort of... Like, it just depends how you scale them. I will say if you think they're universal or above, they should win. But if they're not, like if you think they're star level or like solar system, then Garo definitely wins. Number 1 is me versus YouTube. Truly emotional and thrilling. Sadari, is the next fight Adam versus Zeus? No, but it is a Record of Ragnarok fight. Adam versus Zeus for me is like maybe top 5 fights in Record of Ragnarok. But I have 3 other fights, at least 3 other fights above that in Record of Ragnarok. Imagine if Pain got Jiraiya's body and used it as one of the 6 paths. That would have been sick. I would have loved to see that. I described the fight as based. Nagato takes out Simp in a fight because he forgot he could summon Chad Bunta. Itachi with Aizen's Bankai, so... Yeah, Itachi with Aizen's Bankai would be very hard to deal with. Well, to be more specific, Dark Applier's world is 5th dimensional, viewing an infinite 4D multiverse as diction. Is the next fight Hong versus Hades? Hong versus Hades is number 3 for me in Record of Ragnarok. It felt a bit too one-sided in Hong's favor. At least at first. Saru, you need it in an omelet? Yeah, I do. Goku versus Naruto verse. If you highball Naruto, they stomp, but if you lowball them, Goku stomps. That's my answer. Can Goku beat Goku?
Yes.
The amount of Naruto metas are absolutely insane. I don't think any verse can compete with just how many there are. Yeah, exactly. Like, I don't know. It's really weird to me at this point. Like, I'm so indifferent to it. Because the top tiers, literally, I've heard people scale them anywhere between planet level, or even moon level. I've heard them scaled anywhere from moon level to multiversal. Literally every level, galaxy, solar system, multi-solar, star, large star, dwarf star, low star, like every single level that exists between moon and multiversal, I've heard Naruto scale there. Like, it's just, I don't know. Garo and Saitama can be argued to be 4D. Maybe, but personally I don't subscribe to that. What anime character would Hisoka find the most exciting? See, the thing is, they can't be in a different dimension from him because then he wouldn't be able to comprehend their power, so it has to be someone with, like, infinite 3-dimensional energy. So, like, I don't know, like, it depends. You could say maybe some Record of Ragnarok characters, you could say maybe Saitama, but I don't know. Maybe Goku if you don't think he's 4-dimensional. Is place now going to be Saitama versus Boros? We shall see. Top 5 Bleach characters. Maori, then Kenpachi, then Yamamoto, then Aizen, then maybe Ukiura. Maybe Ukiura. I think that might be my top 5. The first 4 are pretty much set in stone. The 5th one is up for debate. MatPat has narrative manipulation through theory, though. Yeah. Is the next fight Tesla versus Beelzebub? Tesla versus Beelzebub is probably like top 6 fights in Record of Ragnarok for me. Maybe top 4. Is the next fight Sasaki versus Poseidon? Ding, ding, ding. We can move to that now. It has been revealed. Oh wait, oh no. Oh no. No, never mind. Shoot. Never mind. I thought we were at a different placement right now. Never mind, I spoiled my list. Okay. No, number 4. Number 4 is Boros versus Saitama. Sorry about that. I spoiled the list myself. Got mixed up. Yeah, number 4 is Boros versus Saitama. You know, obvious reasons. I love Boros. And this is peak Saitama for me as well. The whole narrative, you know, the limit-breaking deathmatch that nobody could see between the ultimate hero who nobody knows and the ultimate villain who nobody knows. And then you get Boros' whole backstory and narrative, you know, I love the guy. You get Saitama feeling even more depressed that he almost gets that real fight. He gets like the biggest blue ball of all time because he almost gets his real fight, but it's just not enough. It's just not enough to be exciting. And you can see the depression on him as he walks away from Boros. The whole final monologue of Boros, "You were just too strong, Saitama," you know, sums up One Punch Man pretty well. And in general, this is peak One Punch Man for me. The animation in this fight is god tier, the art in this fight is god tier, the narratives are god tier, the hype scaling and the wank scaling that I can give to Boros is top tier. You know, this fight is just so good. It's the introduction and the story and the finish of Boros. And yeah, you know, judging from my channel, you can probably imagine that I love Boros a lot. So yeah, this fight is here. I don't think I need to explain myself too much on this one. Alright, let's see. Have you read Chainsaw Man? I have not, but I might read it in the future. Saitama versus the Big Three. Depends on how you scale Bleach and Naruto. If you scale them to Universal or above, they could win. If you don't scale them, Saitama should win. Darkiplier has plot manipulation, space all time manipulation. Do you know my 4D Saitama and Garo argument? I'm not too sure. I might have heard it, but I'm not sure which one specifically you're referring to, because I've heard quite a few of those. Is it the Big Bang one, that Garo should be capable of recreating a Big Bang? Because if that's the one, then I've already given my thoughts on it. Saturday, I just remembered something before entering the Boros Heart contest. I was drawing Ben 10 transformation. Yeah, you have mentioned that in the past. What do you think sounds better? One Punch Ben, Star War, or Nova? Probably Nova. I just like the way it sounds. Oh, sorry, not Star War, War Star. War Star sounds really good as well. Is that like the options for the name of the transformation, like what Ben would name it? Because War Star sounds absolutely badass then. Like as an alien name for Ben, that sounds awesome. So I would go for that personally. Bleach scaling is the same. I hear pretty much anything from planetary to multiversal. Yeah. Which is why I'm never getting into Bleach scaling. Nah, Yoi Goku would get Hisoka drooling. For sure. Kenpachi versus Saitama depends on where you scale Bleach. Again. MadPat made a Darkiplier theory showing he transcends him into seeing him as fiction. Infinite 3D doesn't equal 4D. It's like filling a box with paper that has 0 length. Yeah. If I ever seem to imply that that's the case, definitely no. At least not intentionally. Like I just said, they would have to be infinite 3D at most for Hisoka to be able to sense the character's power and, you know, like comprehend it. Because if it goes to 40, then he wouldn't be able to comprehend it. So he wouldn't get excited over it. That was pretty much what I intended to say. Peak, amazing fight, Peak. Wow, not number 1, mid. Chad has plot manipulation, which is why we beat Satori. I mean, hey, depends on what story, because, you know, if it's manipulating the plot that I wrote, then, you know, I have plot manipulation too, so we cool out. I just joined, what happened? We're pretty much doing a top 10 favorite fights list. Just like personal top 10 fights. And we just got to number 4, which is Boros versus Saitama. By the way, hello Sage. Top 5 record of Ragnarok characters. Honestly, after this list, I can do a record of Ragnarok character tier list if you want to hear it. Because I keep hearing quite a bit of questions about record of Ragnarok, so I can definitely do a tier list of that. Saitama edged, but at the end he was no gooner. He had to correct himself. Had to correct myself. Second Guts versus Grith is one of my favorites. I need to read Berserk, but I can respect anything that comes from Berserk. Any fight that comes from Berserk is probably peak. I only hear good things about Berserk. Hyosadri is the top 2 fight, Netero versus Meruem. We shall see. Metal Bet with Zombie Man's region would be insane. Yeah, definitely. So what you're saying is that Boros edged Saitama? I'm sorry. Keep Hisoka away from Kid Gohan? Oh no. Oh god. I just beat you, Sadari? Yo guys, do you think you could beat me in a fight? Like IRL. You don't know who I am, or how I look, or like how tall I am, how much I weigh, what skills I might have, but do you think you could just beat me in a fight based off nothing else but my voice and personality? Do you think you could take me in a fight? Markiplier has a gun. The debate is still going on. Markiplier versus MatPat in chat is still going on. It started like 30 minutes ago. What do you think Odin is planning in Record of Ragnarok? I mean, the obvious answer seems to be that he wanted to kill off a lot of the other gods and basically gain power for himself. That would be the obvious pick, but I feel like it's probably gonna be something deeper than that. I scale above Satori because I can draw Tatsumaki X Boros. No, you do not have permission. I know I can't command you to stop drawing, but you do not have permission. I will delete it. I will find you in real life and I will delete it. Top 5 Vinland Saga fights? Definitely one of the ones that has to be on there is the first fight between Torkel and Thorfinn. The second fight probably has to be there as well. The final fight between Thorfinn and Askeladd also has to be there. Another fight would be Askeladd versus Thors. Something like that. I could beat you, no idea. I cannot beat you, I have confidence. He looks like L IRL. Yeah, I can take you on. Bro, L? Like, he can actually straight up bully police officers, armed police officers, with no difficulty. So, you know, don't underestimate L. When I think of Saturday, I think of a tall, skinny, white Eastern European kid. I would definitely win. It's always interesting to hear what people think. Kamabunta should be president of the US. He would straight up legalize all sorts of drugs and then just take them all for himself. I'm 6 feet tall and I play tennis. Well, we know you're 17 too. Oh, I'm 18 now, not 17. Watching the stream debating about MatPat versus Mark. Jesus Christ. I'm the light to your L. Saturday is the next fight, Luffy versus Kaido. I have not read One Piece, so I cannot say. The easiest way to defeat Satori is to show him Tatsumaki X Boros fart. No, that's the easiest way to get a rage boost out of Satori. That's the easiest way to get that Gohan pack. You know how Cell messed with Gohan and found out? That's how you mess with Satori and find out. Markiplier punch can threaten reality. Oh no, Markiplier punch can really... Markiplier can punch really threateningly. I'm not sure how I read that so wrong. Who's winning, Goku versus Saitama? Personally, I'm backing Goku all the way. I don't think Saitama is really that strong. Like, he's definitely very strong, but he's not as strong as the Dragon Ball top tiers, I don't think. Nah, I'd win. Me. Top 3 manga that you've read fully. Definitely Tokyo Ghoul, then probably Naruto and Hunter x Hunter. Although, I haven't actually read Hunter x Hunter fully. So if it's just manga, Then it's gonna be Tokyo Ghoul, Naruto, then Record of Ragnarok. Those would be the ones. You're getting one shot, buddy? A 27-year-old mentally ill lolly x 1,000 of years old one-eyed alien is definitely the best ship. I am a stupid, so I cannot beat you. I mean, I'm a stupid too. Matbat has a son that he can summon like Maharaga. What is going on? What is going on in chat with Markiplier and Matbat debates? Happy 18th birthday, thank you. It was about a month ago at this point, actually over a month ago. But yeah, thank you still. Nah, I'd win. Vegeta as he pumps up. Yeah. I would love to give Satori a rage boost. I feel like Satori has some martial arts up his sleeve. The new easiest way to defeat Satori is to show him the death scene of that character that he said made him cry in another stream. Okay, that's facts though, that's facts. He would literally show it to me and I would collapse crying. Like that, the only scene in fiction that gets me that hard. What if I pull up the IRL and show you hand-drawn Boros Stats art? Well, that's easy, I can just rip it to shreds then. Alright, we can get to number 3 then. So this is gonna be one that I've already mentioned, that I've pretty much spoiled myself. So, number 3 on the list is going to be, from Record of Ragnarok, Kojiro Sasaki versus Poseidon. Now, this was really hard for Record of Ragnarok because there are 3 fights that are really close for me. It's Hades versus Quincy Han, Jack the Ripper versus Hercules, and Poseidon versus Kojiro. So, all 3 of these are really close. Specifically, Jack the Ripper's fight almost made it to number 3 instead of Poseidon's fight, but in the end I went with this one. So, first of all, in the tournament, Record of Ragnarok is basically a series of tournaments a series of fights between God and man. And man went twice, and God went twice, right? They had 2 battles, and both battles the gods won. The first one was a pretty crushing victory for the gods. The second one, humanity came really close to victory, but still ended up losing in the end. And the father of humanity, Adam himself, died. So now humanity is on the back rope, and what do the gods do? They send out Poseidon, who is the scariest god of them all. He is the most feared god in existence, and I literally have an entire video script about how much of a menace to society Poseidon is, and I will be posting that sometime this year. So, watch out for that. But basically, Poseidon, he comes in, and the gods can't even look him in the eye. And then they basically, like, they first of all, they cheer him on, right? But then Poseidon looks around, and he's like, bunch of shit stains. He just says that to a coliseum of gods. And the gods can do nothing. They just sit there and cower in fear. They're just like, yes, yep, sorry for existing, Poseidon. Lord, sir, please, don't hurt us. And then Kojiro comes in, and then he like looks at Poseidon. His whole deal is that he can look at an opponent, and then he can pretty much predict their movements, predict how fast they are, how strong they are. He literally looks at how you blink, and from that he can read your next move. And then he looks at Poseidon, and then he attempts to simulate a brain. Like, he simulates in his brain, in his mind, what his first move should be, and he charges Poseidon and gets instantly skewered. And then he starts sweating buckets from just standing in one place, and basically the fight starts, and Kojiro just looks at Poseidon and he's sweating hard. And then everybody's looking at the ring, and they're like, why is nobody moving? And then one of the gods is like, they're waiting for the other to make the first move because, you know, the first move can leave you open for a counterattack and you die or something. And then another god, Hermes, is like, nah, you're mistaken. Poseidon just doesn't view this guy as a threat at all. He's just waiting for the guy to come closer so he can skewer him alive. And then, the narrator starts talking. Nobody knew that before the fight had even begun, Kojiro had already been slaughtered 18 times. Kojiro just simulates battles in his own mind, and any move he makes, he just gets instantly slaughtered. And so he legit sits down, and this is one of the biggest flexes in all of anime for Poseidon here. Kojiro literally starts having flashbacks before the fight even begins. He has to pull out the flashback boost before the fight even starts. Can you imagine? Dude legit starts having flashbacks to his life. His life flashes before his eyes before the fight even begins. And then the fight starts and Kojiro is actually kind of doing well. Like he goes in, he has a read on Poseidon now from simulating like countless battles with him, thousands of battles. After that many attempts to engage with Poseidon, he finally does it for real, and he's able to impress him a little bit. So then Poseidon just starts walking toward Kojiro, and everybody is shocked that he is even walking toward an opponent. Like, Poseidon has just such mad final boss vibes. He's like what I imagine, what's the name? Dark Souls. This is what I would imagine Dark Souls' final boss as. Like, everybody is just scared as hell of him. All the gods, a pantheon of gods, they're all just getting talked down to by Poseidon, and they can do nothing. And then we get a flashback to Poseidon, where he literally turns his own brother into a shish kebab and throws him to the side like a scumbag, pretty much. And so we just get this feel like Poseidon is just such an insurmountable force. And then when Kojiro finally, through plot armor and friendship and the universe itself coming to his aid, finally beats him. And then this is such a triumphant moment for humanity because they pretty much just beat the god's final boss. They pretty much just did that after a series of 2 losses in a row before that. And it's just such an awesome moment, and throughout the entire fight I was at the edge of my seat constantly. So this is why this fight is #1 for me in Record of Ragnarok. As you can probably tell, I've been yapping for a while now. I love it a lot. So yeah, let's catch up on Satori. Not Satori, let's catch up on chat. I opened chat and saw Satori all over the place. So just instinctively. Alright, so let's see. Gilgamesh versus Enkidu from Fate is top 5 anime manga fights. Maybe, I haven't read it or seen it, but I can respect that. Satori would unleash Awakening Breath and Heart Release. Markiplier has more combat experience. Bro, what is going on? Nah, time to see Peak. The purest version debates Satori, that is what's going on. I'm not sure I get that. That scene of assassination classroom on me 24/7 if Satori tries to rob me. You just have a phone and you have like a window pulled up of that scene just in case I try to rob you. Yo, Satori is the next fight Yuji versus Mahito. No, it is not. But that's a good fight though. Right, I gotta go for real this time. Yeah, have a good day. Good night, Julian. Meruem's death is the one that got me shedding tears, but Kodo-sensei was really close. Yeah, Meruem got me to shed tears on like the 4th viewing of it, I think. It's also definitely a very sad death. Goku versus Frieza should be on the list. Like, all those fights wouldn't have been the same if not for it. I mean, technically, but at the same time, doesn't mean that it's going to be one of my favorites. Like, I can respect that it paid the groundwork for all these fights, but I don't think that by default that makes it one of the top 10 for me personally. But it's still a very good fight. I have a lot of nostalgia for it, just sitting in my home watching it. Flashback boost versus rage boost, which is superior? I would say flashback if it includes friends. If it includes a friendship boost. Like a flashback plus friendship boost definitely is better than a rage boost. Who has the greatest plot armor in anime? Because I'm salty, I'm gonna say Queen Shihan from Record of Ragnarok, because I'm really salty. Where do you think Satori scales Satori? At least... I would say at least monitor level. At least computer monitor level. Yeah, but for real... what can I say? My leg press is 200 kilos. Pretty much. 200 kilos for 4 sets. 16, 17 times each. Something like that. Base Gamabunta versus Mihawk swordsmanship. I don't know. Gamabunta by your logic. I'm back, Pookie. Hello, Loco. Sasaki is the let me solo her for Poseidon. Yeah, pretty much. But what happens if Boros pulls up on Poseidon? Hey, I actually have a Flashy Flash vs Poseidon video coming up, and then after that I have a video on Garo, Saitama, and God versus Zeus, Poseidon, and Hades. So yeah, those two will definitely be videos that come out at some point. So, Flashy Flash versus Poseidon will probably be the next scripted versus battle that I do. So who would win, Satori versus every single Tatsu's Boros shipper at once? Oh my lord. Top 10 saddest anime moments. That can be a live stream of its own. Just me discussing my top 5 saddest anime moments, or top 10. I feel like I kinda carry because I'm the only serious guy. Yeah, you kinda carry the chat right now. There's so many Markiplier versus MatPat comments in this. I stopped reading them a while ago, but they're still going on. The debate is still ongoing. I scale above Hades, so I one-shot. Nobody scales above Hades. Top 3 most fraudy frauds. King, Mr. Satan, and I'm not sure. Not sure who the third one would be. That flashback boost didn't save that one tracksuit hero from Garo. True. Sasuke versus Susuke Among Us. I'm not sure what's going on anymore. Top 5 summons in Naruto. I mean, if you discount the Bijou, the Geromazo has to be first. Then Manda, number 2. Or Manda version 2. Then the real Manda. Original Manda. After that, you can argue Gamabunta, you can argue the Pain Bloodhound that keeps multiplying. Something like that. The MatPat debate ended? I don't know, it's still going on from what I see. Literally anyone alive scales above Hades? No. Novel, Boros, and Jogo scale above Hades? No. Hades scales above everyone. I glaze Hades. Hades just solos everybody. What are your thoughts on the redraws for the Ninja Association arc? I'm glad it's happening because I don't like the original arc that was going on. So I'm glad that it's happening. Gamabunta strongest summon, Manda fraud. Manda literally beat Gamabunta on screen. What about me, Satori? What are you referring to exactly? Fading says I'm back, welcome back. Satori is scoping, lol. No. Kuren Deku versus Kuren Genos. I don't really scale MHA, but from what I know, probably Genos. But I definitely could be wrong. Satori versus Hades, I lose. Hades destroys me in a fight. Gamabunta versus Baboon versus Hades versus Shrek. This is just memes at this point. I'm gonna go to the next placement on the list. Okay, so we have Sasaki versus Poseidon here. I'm running out of space I'm running out of space big time, is what I mean to say. Okay, so number 2. My second favorite fight in anime. In this case, in manga. Spoilers for Tokyo Ghoul. It is the rematch, the final battle between Kaneki and Kisho Arima. The battle between the Black Reaper and the White Reaper. The art in this fight, first of all, is god tier. Absolute god tier art. Even better than One Punch Man, don't at me. And then, the character stuff and the narratives? Brother, I could sit here all day. Like, I don't even know if I should get into it because we're legit gonna be sitting here for an hour just with me discussing this fight. The narratives, it is so densely packed with character stuff for both of them. And it's just... Brother, you need to read this fight to know its brilliance. Like, I can't even explain. I can't even begin to explain it. Like Kaneki, he goes into this fight with the mindset that he probably is going to die. And then at first he kind of wants to die, but then as the fight goes on, he realizes that no, life is precious, he should be striving to live, and then he gains a resolve to live. Meanwhile, Arima is fighting to die. He wants to die. He hates his life because he keeps on having to take the lives of others, and he hates that. He hates his duty as someone who has to keep killing people. And so you have this guy who is fighting to die versus this guy who is fighting to survive, and the guy who's fighting to die is much stronger. So he's pretty much dominating. And then the whole battle, as it goes on, I'm not gonna give a play-by-play, but I'm just gonna list off some of my favorite moments. So one of my favorite moments is Kaneki realizing that he wants to live, because as weird as that sounds, that's a major character moment for him. And then another one is Kisho Arima literally saying, yo, look, get serious here, fight for real. I could have ended you 200 times by now. I could have inflicted a fatal wound 200 times at this point. So that's a major flex. And throughout the fight, Kisho Arima is being set up as sort of a villain. Like, he's being contextualized as the bad guy. And then Kaneki, he pretty much views Arima as a father figure at this point, because there was like this whole subplot with Kaneki, not a subplot, a major plot point of Kaneki losing his memories and then basically being reborn with Arima as basically his mentor, and then their whole relationship being explored in this fight. Everything about them, it's just so good. It's so good. And then we get these peak lines from Kaneki and some flashbacks that nobody understands Arima. Nobody understands how he feels. He is entirely alone in the world. And then eventually Kaneki is able to overcome him. He's able to beat him. But then he has no intention of killing Arima, which is what Arima wants. He wants to die at this point because he hates his life. And so he literally slices his own neck open, and then he's like, Kaneki, I need you to be the one who killed me. And then Kaneki swears that yes, I'm the one who killed you. I will take that title, I guess. And and then Arima has this beautiful moment where he's like, I feel like I finally have something to leave behind. which he's referring to Kaneki, because he mentored Kaneki, he nurtured him, and now he feels like finally in this life of bloodshed, he's done something good. He's given rise to Kaneki, who has the potential to finally end a lot of the suffering that a lot of the characters are going through in the story. So, just like that whole moment, and then the final lines, the final line of that whole battle is, turns out the one who wanted to die the most was the Reaper himself. It hits so hard in terms of character, in terms of artwork, in terms of action, in terms of narrative, in terms of story, in terms of plot, in terms of everything. This fight is absolutely goated. Like, I can't even begin to describe, like, what I've said here is just surface level nonsense compared to actual, like, what actually happens in the fight. Like, just chef's kiss. It is just a peak anime fight, peak manga fight. In terms of just manga only, this is my favorite fight of all time. Like, it's just so good. Alright, getting back to chat. I bet he can't lift Kaseo. What is Kaseo? What is that? What is a Kaseo? I legitimately do not know. I am a man from the 90s who is wondering why the heck this internet generation is completely whacked. Same, I'm a guy from the 2000s and I'm still wondering that. Do the pain bodies or Edos count as a summon? Pain bodies probably not. Like, I wouldn't count them personally, but Edos might. The third fraud would be Sage Centipede. Yeah, Sage Centipede. How could I forget about him? Yeah, definitely the third fraud. Satori glazing Hades versus Tizzy glazing Gojo. I don't know who Tizzy is. I at you, deal with it. Is this a reference to how I said better art than One Punch Man, don't at me? Is this a response? You seriously need a Dio versus Yamamoto video? I mean, equal stats maybe, but definitely not a pure, like, fight. Sorry. This is all of Murata's best qualities as an artist applied to one of the best narratives in manga history combined with Peak? Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Cosmic Boros' ultimate attack collapsing universe roaring cannon destroys the surface of the galaxy cluster. That would be sick to see. Matpet versus Hades. Definitely Hades. What type of personality do you think God One Punch Man will have? I hope it's not something of a generic, arrogant bad guy. I hope he feels distant and detached from humanity and like mortality as a whole. I really hope he's not like the gods in, let's say, Dragon Ball, for example, where they still have very obvious human personalities and flaws. I really want him to just be this, like, this cold, detached, like, truly godlike entity. I would admit something here, drawing Hades is very difficult. I can imagine. Did you read Kengen Ashura? The final fight slaps emotionally. I have not read that, but I might. Throughout heaven and earth, I alone am the glazing one. A quote from Satori. Yeah. Top 10 art and manga. That's a good one. Like, off the top of my head, not a ranking. Tokyo Ghoul, One Punch Man, Record of Ragnarok. They're all like, these three are like the main ones for me in terms of art. And then I would say Bleach and Naruto, especially Bleach. Bleach more so than Naruto has very good art. MHA has very good art as well. JoJo's has very distinct art. AOT has its own appeal. There's a lot of good art. Vinland Saga is also good looking. I'd say those are like the main ones for me. JJK also has a distinct look that's really cool. His king versus the cadres next. The Hellfire Cannon was too strong. Yeah, it was. So God will be Poseidon. You know, that sort of, like, that could work. I can't draw, so I never diss a series art. Yeah, that's respectable. Like, I can't draw either. I pretty much... I don't think I've ever dissed a series art. We can go to number 1 then. Which is something that people have already predicted. It is Netero versus Meruem from Hunter x Hunter. This was my favorite fight years ago, and it still is my favorite fight to this day. It has one of my favorite moments in fiction, which we've talked about earlier in a previous stream last week, I believe. And then, the fight itself is so awesome, like the narratives of it and everything. I legit don't even know how to really sum it up in quick fashion, but basically you have Netero, who is the human turning monster as the fight goes on, and then you have Meruem, who is the monster turning human as the entire arc goes on. And Meruem gives this whole worldview of his that's very developed for someone who's just 40 days old, which is Meruem's age. But yeah, he gives his entire worldview and he wants peace with Netero. Netero knows that he cannot afford that, and so he seeks out a fight with Meruem. The human, the hero, is initiating the conflict with the monster, which is a nice reversal. And then the fight itself is absolutely spectacular in both the anime and the manga. The anime. The anime's artistic directions, the choreography, the pacing, the dialogue that the two of them have throughout the fight, everything is just so perfect. And like this is a one-sided fight, in all honesty. Like, Meruem takes barely any damage, but it still feels so close and intense and so godly. And Netero displays his ultimate speed and whatnot. You know, there's strategies involved and everything. And then you have the soundtracks. Final Mission and Restriction and Pledge are two of the best soundtracks that I've ever heard. Maybe not the best, but definitely top 10, both of them. And they're just so good. And the finish of the fight, with Netero chopping off, Meruem chopping off Netero's arm and leg, and then Netero is like, you think I need arms to pray? He pulls everything he has into one final attack, and it just barely does any damage to Meruem. And then Meruem gives this whole speech about how Netero, as a lone human, he can never defeat the Chimera Ants, which are the pinnacle of evolution, basically. Over hundreds of generations of collective efforts from the entire species, Meruem was born, and so Netero could never defeat him. And then Netero responds by abandoning his own humanity, by abandoning his morals, by abandoning his love for everything he strived for up until this point, because before this he fought with his love for the martial arts, for fighting, for everything. Now he casts that away, and he resorts to using humanity's hatred as the ultimate weapon. He detonates a nuclear bomb and takes Meruem down with him. And it's such a powerful moment narratively. And then Meruem's royal guards show up to the fight. Well, not the fight, the crater, basically. They find Meruem's dying body, and they use their own power of love to revive him, albeit temporarily, which is just... like, the narratives in this fight are just so beautiful, and the fight itself is spectacular to look at. The animation is godly. The characters, the plot, the narratives, you know, it's all just so good. So yeah, yeah, these are my top 10 fights. This is number 1. Alright, then let's see. Let's catch up with chat. Top 10 most arrogant characters. From the top of my head, Flashy Flash, Vegeta, Poseidon, maybe Atomic Samurai. Then Darkshine probably has to be in there as well. Who else? I guess Mr. Satan you could say at first. Frieza, Cell, you have those guys. Then you have, I would say Aizen probably counts. Dio definitely counts. All for One. I would even say characters like Orochi and many One Punch Man monsters count. You could argue Madara as well. There are a lot of arrogant characters in anime. Duo, Netero and Meruem versus Naruto or One Punch Man equal stats. That could go really hard. Naruto, I feel like a lot of hacks can bypass Meruem and Netero's defenses because like Genjutsu, Shadow Clones and whatnot, but One Punch Man, that would be really interesting. Don't underestimate humanity. Yep. What do you think of AOT's finale? I think it's good. Like, personally, I like it. I understand why people are pissed, but personally, I like it. Drawing made me respect comic artists. Yeah, you don't know how tough it is until you actually try it at all. Are you the Glazer because you are a simp for Hades? Or are you a simp for Hades because you were the Glazer? The first option. I hope the drawing I made of your avatar is good enough. Hey, it's good. Art in Unison on Discord made a couple drawings for my avatar, which I will probably be using in streams and videos. But the thing is, there was a problem with the background of one of them, so I didn't put it on stream here. I originally planned to, but I didn't end up doing that. I'll need to fix that a little bit. Bang versus Netero equal stats? I would say Netero, because he fights long range and he has a ridiculously huge arsenal of attacks. Unless it's actually, well, equal stats. Actually, maybe Bang, because Netero relies a lot on the praying motion that he does, and that relies on his ridiculous speed. So, if his speed is equal to the opponent, then the opponent could actually bypass the Guanian quite easily. So yeah, I would say probably Bang then. Okay, time to reveal my favorite fight on all of fiction. Steven Universe versus White Diamond. The fight of morals, themes, ideas, presences. And the fight between the show and Cartoon Network peak. I don't think I get that all, but it's still... I can respect that still. That's my biggest hot take ever. Netero versus Poseidon. In terms of not equal stats, Poseidon absolutely demolishes, but if it's equal stats, then Poseidon still demolishes because again, Netero relies on his superior speed to his opponents. Raikage should be on the list. He has some good fights, but I wouldn't call any of them my top 10 favorite in all of anime. Have you watched Avatar: The Last Airbender? Yes, I have. If I included it, then maybe the final Agnikai could have made it onto the list. Maybe, it depends. But it would have definitely had a good shot. The thing, my main problem with it is just that it's really short. That's like the biggest issue I have with it. Hey, how's your day going? It's going good. How's yours, Chris? Top 5 hardest quotes in anime. I'd have to think about that. I would say one of them probably has to be either what are you going to do about the second one, or would you like these clones to use Susanoo? That has to be on here. And then there are some Tokyo Ghoul fights that have ridiculously hard quotes. One of them would be the old man. I forget his name, but basically the leader of Anteku. You know, the old man from Tokyo Ghoul, pretty much. He comes out in front of an army of soldiers that are going to kill him. And then he transforms into his monster form, basically, into his combat mode, you could say. And then he's like, he gives this whole monologue about how life is inherently evil because all acts of taking are inherently evil. And then he just says, "Now, come kill me, I will do the same." And he starts slaughtering them. That's also one of the hardest quotes. And then Pain Cycle of Hatred, definitely up there. There's quite a few. Release Boros versus every other One Punch Man characters, excluding the God tiers. Who wins? I would say Boros. If by the God tiers you mean everybody that's stronger than Boros. So like everybody weaker than Release Boros versus Release Boros. I feel like Boros should win, personally. Do you know when you can watch Animation versus Minecraft? I'm not too sure when I will watch it. I probably will at some point, but I'm not too interested in the idea. You did hype it up on one of the previous streams though, so I'll give it a shot. We can barely hear your voice all stream. Wait, what? Why didn't you guys say anything? Is it actually bad? Is it actually bad? I made it a bit louder. Top soundtracks in anime. Boros' theme, Dark Matter, has to be on there. Pain's theme has to be on there. Restriction and Pledge from Hunter x Hunter has to be on there. Then, I would say Jack the Ripper's theme from Record of Ragnarok has to be on there as well. There are quite a few. Sound is good. Yeah, guys, please let me know, because I got scared. I'm scared now. What's up? When are you gonna get into JJK scaling? I want more JJK bullying. I'll do a few collabs on JJK, but I don't plan to get into the scaling myself too much. Generally, I don't really know. What was I about to say? What was I about to say? Hold on. Oh, generally, I don't really like getting into power scaling for a lot of verses because it sort of lessens my enjoyment of a lot of them. Alright, so now that the list is done, a Record of Fiction asked about my top 5 favorite Record of Ragnarok characters. So real quick, what I can do is make a Record of Ragnarok character tier list, if you would be interested. Wouldn't spend too much time on it because I've been streaming for a minute now. But I can do a quick tier list. Now let's see. Get the keyboard back. Alright, there's quite a few on this one, but I should be able to get through the main ones at least. Sorry for the noise, moving around a little bit. So if Netero always has better speed than his opponents, how high are his chances of winning? Very high, because he has 10 days worth of stamina, and he can legit just blitz people over and over again and deal damage over time. And then he has Zero Hand, which is at least a one-shot tier above his regular attacks. What good manga did you read recently? So recently my friend got me into Hell's Paradise, and the manga is sus. I will say that. At one point I was concerned that he tricked me into reading a hentai, but overall it's actually very good. Aside from those few sus scenes, the characters, the narratives are really, really good. So yeah, that would be the manga recently. I'm not finished with it yet, so please don't spoil if you have read it, but yeah. I did it for free and made his avatar more expressive. Yeah, Art in Unison on Discord made some drawings of my avatar, which I appreciate. I'm probably going to be using some of them for videos. I'm up for a tier list, yeah. Interesting list, Satoru. You only have Boros versus Saitama in common. Yeah, Yasin, okay. That's interesting. I would like to hear your list. Like, could you stream sometime with your own lists? Because I would be very interested in seeing them. I wonder how your voice is holding up by now. 2.5 hours. Surprisingly well, actually. Like, I can still form coherent sentences, as far as I can tell. So, yeah, it's actually surprisingly well. It's holding up surprisingly well. Have you read Vinland Saga? I have not read it, but I've watched the anime. What if we give Netero a Sharingan or a Rinnegan? Sharingan would be more useful because it would increase his speed even more and give him precognition. So imagine Netero, but on steroids even. That would be very wild. Alright, let me real quick set the tier list up and then I can get to it. Let me quickly do that. Alright. Do fights from What If Boros Turned Good count? If you have any of them in the top 10 list, then sure, they can count. I'd become one of Satoru's artists for free, like especially drawing some scenes with King, maybe. Yeah, I appreciate that. I do plan to, once I finish the script for What If Boros Turned Good Season 2, like after I'm done with it completely, like the entire season, and I know all the scenes that will be in it, I do plan to announce that I'm looking for artists, because in my server right now there's a ton of good artists, like actually. There's quite a few really good artists who take commissions, so I do plan to go to them for commissions. Basically like announce that, yeah, like guys, you can, if you're interested in doing commissioned art, then for this series, okay, my voice isn't holding up as well as I thought. If you're interested in helping out with the series, of course, for commissions, you know, for money, then you can DM me with the examples of your work, and then I'll probably commission art from you. Welcome to the club, Art. Me and Jack have been waiting for you. The animation versus Minecraft storyline, episode 1, good. Episode 22 to 22 is cool and funny. Episode 22 to 30. Okay, my voice is dead. to 30. Serious and great. Okay, like, I'll check it out sometime, but probably not soon. Don't think any of them are in my top 10, but Firestorm Phoenix Man versus Tatsumaki probably would top 100. That's good to hear. The problem with my list is that at least 5 fights would be from animes that aren't popular. For example, Nanashi versus Luolang from Sword of Strangers is definitely top 10 for me. Manga list is different too. Alright. I can respect that. I can respect giving credit to smaller IPs. Would you be interested in making Boros X Tatsumaki canon for $1,000? Don't accept it. You aren't yourself when you're thirsty. Have some water. Don't accept Yasin's offer. Wait, Yasin's not the one who made that offer. That is like a deal with the devil. Where do I sign? Look, $1,000 is a lot. It would literally get so much done. But Tatsumaki X Boros is not gonna be canon. Tatsumaki X Boros is not canon. For any amount of money. I'm sorry. No. No, I'm not sorry. I'm not sorry. I'll make that offer though. No. No, Yassi, no. Don't go to the dark side. Don't go to the dark side. Yasin about to be converted into becoming a Sith Lord. Alright, so I think we can get to the tier list. Okay, hold on. Ozidata, I'm back. Which fight is number 1 and which is number 2? And number 1 is Netero versus Meruem from Hunter x Hunter, and number 2 is Arima versus Kaneki from Tokyo Ghoul. You were meant to destroy the shippers, not join them. Alright, so let's see if I can even really add the tier list on screen. I hope I can. Let's see. So if I just do this. No, it's not letting me. Hold on. Hold on, let me try to figure this out. Nope, it's not letting me. Hold on, I'll try something different. Oh, what is this? Dang it, I'm not familiar with OBS at all. How do I put the thing in? Come on, man, a small sacrifice for the betterment of everyone. I mean, you can have a new PC and we get what we want. Suryu versus Darkshine? Oh, Darkshine for sure, in terms of power. I want to learn a bit of animating and I can draw somewhat. Okay, but I wouldn't... But I would be willing to help. What if Boros turned good season 2? And that would be appreciated. Have a nice day to everyone. Was a really nice stream to listen to during work. Much respect for your buddy. Thank you. Have a good day as well. We should get into a voice call sometime. It's kind of crazy that we've never actually talked before on voice call. Only through streams and comments and whatnot. Yes sir, Netero versus Meruem must peak. My favorite fight as well. Hey. Might guy with Netero's ability. I mean, he wouldn't be as practiced with it. I think he would be better off just sticking to taijutsu. You know, hand-to-hand combat. Crossfade to black. That would be awesome. Human Garo versus Pure Blood. Pure Blood doesn't really have any real scaling. His only scaling is just fighting Zombie Man, I guess. Well, then how do I add this? I could share my entire screen, but that's not what I want to do. I'm not sure how to do this without closing the stream and putting it on with the stream closed. Hold on, I can try to change some things up. The final battle of Boros survived will be Satori versus the shippers. Their battle will be legendary. If we somehow reach the size of 5 years later, I'm gonna lose it. I would love to, but I don't think we will ever will. Bang with Netero's ability, thousands of water stream. I mean, technically, but he would still have to perform the motion of the hands, so it would technically slow him down. Okay, oh, there we go, there we go, there we go. Finally. There we go. That's better. Alright. So here is the Record of Ragnarok tier list that I promised. Hey Satori, like you, in the future I might get a laptop and draw from there with a drawing pad. That's good, I wish that happens. Suiryu versus Tai Long. Probably Suiryu. I don't really scale Kung Fu Panda though. I can't really say. Right, so this is the tier list of characters from Record of Ragnarok. I don't want to rank every single one. So Adam, we can add him, we can add her too. Just gonna get all the ones that I'm somewhat interested in. Let's see. Well, she can be there. The horse, let's rank the horse, why not? The horse has a personality. She can go on there. Raiden definitely. Or one of the fighters has to be on there. Lubu's hype man, why not? Okay, I know I said I wouldn't be ranking every single character, but you gotta at least rank the main ones and whatnot. Susanoo, we don't... I can give initial impressions about these two, I guess. This guy too. These guys here. She can be on there too. And him, why not? Okay, I think... Yeah, I think I'll rank these guys, which now that I look at it, it's a lot, but I'll get through these pretty fast. So let's catch up on chat a little bit, and then I'm gonna go do the tier list, I mean. Will you include Valkyries or skip them? I'll include a couple. A couple of the most notable ones. Prediction, Hades is number 1. Yes, sir, you already know. Garo versus Batman equals stats. Probably Batman. Batman has insane lore with martial arts. What if Hades turned good when? Hades is already good. Hades is the pinnacle of good. Hades is the pinnacle of all things good. It's 2 AM here, and yet I can't sleep. I will go watch somewhere else. Hope we can continue discussing and talking in DMs later. See ya. See ya. Lubu horse versus Sage. Lubu's horse bodies. Actually, almost unironically, almost. I could almost make the argument that Lubu's horse actually beats Sage. Are the fighters without the Valkyries normal human level, or do some of them have strong feats pre-tournament? They're not normal humans in the slightest. Lubu literally cuts clouds on some Saitama energy, and Quin Shi Han, this guy literally beats a god barehanded with no Volander. So yeah. Okay, Adam might piss some people off, but he's A tier for me. He's not S tier. I like him a lot. His father, his speech and whatnot, like, it's very good, but for me, he's A tier. I don't really have any faults with him, it's just that he doesn't click with me per se as much. Adamas, I think he can be C tier. It's fun to... Okay, C tier is basically decent, like it does his job well. Him getting pissed at Hades dying is cool. Him wanting to literally kill the Valkyries, not paying any attention to the rules of the tournament is cool. Also his rebellion against Poseidon and whatnot. He's like either C or B, but I'll go C. Aphrodite is D tier, because I hate seeing her on screen. I think she's disgusting. Ares can go to B tier. I don't like that he's being treated like a jobber, but at the same time it is kind of funny from time to time. So yeah, he can go here. Plus he serves as the necessary exposition guy. Like, he asks people to give us exposition pretty much. Hermes is cool. I like him. He's B tier. He's like high B tier. Much higher than Ares. Then the announcer, he does his job well. He's like C tier. He's pretty fun. Let's catch up on chat a little bit, and then I'm gonna go continue the tier list. It depends on what version of Batman you match against Garo. Yeah. Batman has very, very different power levels and skill levels depending on what version you use. What if Hades and Poseidon swapped fights? I want to do a video on that. I feel like that deserves a video of its own. I've already thought about that quite a bit, and I want to do a video. Who is the biggest fraud, Ares or Sage? See, Ares at least recognizes that he is not him after a couple fights, whereas Sage still thought he was him until the very end. So I would go with Sage. Beelzebub, S tier. I love his backstory, I love his personality, I love him, S tier. He's like me. He's like me a few years ago, with the doomer mindset. Then Jack the Ripper's Valkyrie. She's fun. I like her. I like that she hangs out with Jack later, so I'll place her here, middle of C tier. She does her job well. Jack, S tier, my second favorite character in the show. No explanation needed, I feel, because he is goated. Everybody loves him. Okay. Now, this guy, Loki, he could have probably been B tier, like somewhere here. But in the latest chapters, it's been revealed that he's a creep, and I don't like him anymore. I really don't like the latest chapters for him. I don't like what he's doing there. Then, Hercules, either high B or low A. I think he's good, but he's also a little bit basic, but that's the point. He's supposed to be the basic, super good guy. I'll say top of B. Hajun is meh, does his job, but doesn't really do much more than that. He just serves as an opponent for Buddha. Hades, number 1, you already know. Just a league of his own. And now let's catch up on chat a little more, and then we'll continue. Sari, what do you think was your biggest inspiration for What Ifs for Season 1? Oh, from What Ifs for Season 1. I've noticed a lot of Masako's What If Frieza turned good elements in it. Yeah, that's one of the inspirations you could say. I don't really... Like, it wasn't a conscious inspiration, but now that I look back at it, it probably did have influence. I feel like a bigger thing was probably just Vegeta's arc in Dragon Ball. That was like a more conscious thing that I was sort of comparing it to in my own head. In terms of stories, just like actual stories, Dragon Ball did have influence. Naruto had some influence. One Punch Man, obviously. I'd have to go back through and look at it a bit, but a lot of animes did have influences on it. Record of Ragnarok to some extent too. Everyone loves the serial killer, Satori quote. I mean, yeah, if it's Jack the Ripper from Record of Ragnarok, everybody loves him. Why is Hades not in SSS tier? I mean, he could be in a tier of his own, but I can't be bothered to make a tier now, because I would have to move my laptop a bit. Not laptop, keyboard. Keyboard a bit. I don't have a laptop. Orochi or Psycho Orochi versus Legendary Godzilla. I don't scale Legendary Godzilla, so I can't really say. Right, then moving on with the lightning round. Eve is fine. I'd say she's like here, just like pretty basic. Buddha is A tier for me, probably above Adam, but they're interchangeable. I like them both a lot. Again, a fan favorite, but he's not an S tier for me personally. I don't click with him as much as with these others, but I think he's definitely here. He's like, him and Adam are very interchangeable for sure. Then, the main Valkyrie. What's it? I can't believe that I'm forgetting her name. Jeez, I actually forgot her name. I'm embarrassed. Now, like, I'm actually... My brain is lagging so hard, I can't remember her name. She's B tier for me, above Ares, but below Hermes, I think. This kid, basic, just like serves as a showcase to someone who doubts Sasaki during the Poseidon fight, but eventually comes to respect him and root for him. Lubu can be bottom of B tier. He's pretty basic as well, but he's interesting. He's quite interesting, I would say. He can go bottom of B. His horse can go to C tier. Pretty fun. Died for its master. You know, when Lubu died, the horse stood in front of the God of Thunder, in front of Thor, and it was like, nah, I want that smoke, and charged at him. So yeah, the horse has more personality than a lot of anime characters. Elder Centipede is the GOAT. Blood even injured Blast, unlike Sage, who's a total fraud and metal bat victim. Yes, sir. Adam and Hades would have been good friends if they weren't enemies, for sure. They would have hit it off so well. Throughout heaven and earth, I alone am the yapping one. Me. Alright, let's go through. Odin, he's B for now. He can go higher or lower depending on where his motivations lie and whatnot, but for now he's B. Poseidon S tier. Do I like him more than Beelzebub is a question which I think I do. I think he's more like he's in between these guys probably. Then Kojiro, gotta be bottom of A tier. I like him not quite as much as these two, but I still love him a lot, so yeah. Shiva also gotta be A tier. I would say top of A tier because I like him a lot. He's like Shikamaru, but if he actually put in work all the time, like, yeah, he's lazy, but he's gonna do what he's gotta do. Then, Kun Shihan's caretaker? Bodyguard? I don't remember her name exactly. She's like middle of B tier, I would say. She does her job. She's pretty interesting. Raiden gotta go in that A tier as well. I would say probably bottom of A. I don't like him quite as much as Shiva, but I still like him a lot. Thor is very basic. He's like upper rank C, I guess. Quinn Shihan, another A tier. His backstory is really good. His personality is really fun to watch, but I'm salty. So I would say he's like near the top of A tier. He's like Adam Buddha level, something like that. He's pretty interchangeable with him. Then this guy who I don't even remember the name of. Zerofuku. He is decent, like the whole plot point with him trying to take away people's suffering and then realizing that by taking away suffering from people, you make them lazy and whatnot, and you just suffer yourself. It is pretty good. Him coming to terms with the Buddha is also really fun, so I would say around upper B tier. Also really tragic how he goes out and becomes Hajun. Then let's catch up on chat a little bit. Nah, I'd win. The horse. Yeah, pretty much. The horse wanted that smoke with the God of Thunder. Then this hype man of Lu Bu is gonna go D tier. I really find these guys annoying. This guy as well, who hyped up Leonidas. Actually, he can go bottom of C tier because he at least had a little bit of growth. The guy who was hyping up and crying over Lu Bu fighting, I don't really like. I can also immediately find the guy who was hyping up Thor and also put him in D tier. I don't like these guys at all. Then we have what's his name? The French guy who predicts things. I knew him before I even read Record of Ragnar. Astrodamus. I know a lot about him before even reading the series, and I forgot about him for some reason. I'm kind of salty about him being in here, because Astrodamus in real life, I'm of the opinion that he was an absolute fraud. But in terms of character here, he's fine. He's bottom of B tier for now. He's interesting. I want to see where he goes. Then the guy who asked Hades to avenge Poseidon, who cried over Poseidon, his loyal servant, for being loyal to Poseidon and for trusting Hades, B tier. Because, I don't know, I feel bad for him. That his master died and then his master's older brother also died. I feel bad for him. Tesla has to be another A tier. Again, like, around that Buddha, Kojiro level. Something like that. He does feel a little bit one note, so I'll probably put him below Kojiro, but just above Raiden. Lucifer, he was very fun while he lasted, but he didn't last too long, so I'll place him just above Thor in C tier, upper C tier. Then Tesla's brother, he was fun, I'll say upper C tier as well. Apollo, aside from his fight having contradictions to the rest of the plot and power scaling, I like him a lot, his personality and everything. I think he's low A tier, like the lowest A tier for me. With his whole, like, he made himself into the god of boxing and the god of archery and poetry and whatnot. Like, he wasn't born with that like a lot of these other gods. He had to work for it. And what he considers to be beautiful is very interesting as well. But he should have been more fleshed out. That whole fight was just so rushed. Leonidas is sort of in the same vein. I like him a lot. I like his cool guy persona, tough guy. But I think he could have been done way better. So I'll say bottom of A tier as well for him. Interchangeably with Apollo, I like them both a lot. Alright, then let's catch up to chat real quick. Buddha SSS tier. I can understand the appeal, but personally I don't click with them as much. Boros without a stamina limit versus Blast. I think Blast definitely wins. I have a whole video on Blast versus Boros and why I think it's not close. Then we have the Valkyrie that Leonidas was paired with. She's like middle of C tier. Pretty fun, but nothing too special. Zeus is really entertaining. I will say middle of A tier. Somewhere lower middle. I would say right below Tesla and Raiden, but above Apollo and Leonidas. Yeah, I'd say that fits. The guy who hyped up Kojiro, at least he has a cool personality and fight of his own, so I'll say he's upper C tier. Susanoo, for now, I think he's a B tier for me, like middle of B tier, but he could go a lot higher once we get to know him better. Same with Okita. I'll place them both here for now, but they definitely can go a lot higher. Their fight has just begun. Anubis, I'm not sure how I feel about him being this dog man dog. I'd say like middle of C tier maybe, alongside Thor. And then Rudra, gonna be somewhere up, lower middle B tier. Because I feel like he did have some interesting things going for him, but he mostly just serves to hype up Shiva. But I do think it's interesting, like he was chasing this dream of his, and then his friend who wasn't as interested in the dream was just more naturally skilled and powerful, and eventually he just lost his dream to his best friend, and no salt or anything, he just accepted it and moved on. I feel like that's a very sad story, so I'll say upper B tier. And then we have Lilith, who is pretty much the curse of life for Beelzebub, I guess you could say. She's like middle of B tier probably. She's pretty fun. Actually, no, I'll say she's alongside Lucifer in C tier, upper C tier. So yeah, that would be my tier list for Record of Ragnarok characters, for the most part. The main ones, at least. Hey, are you gonna do a review of Record of Ragnarok? I might. At least as some fights specifically. I am already planning to do a video on Poseidon. I have a whole script on why Poseidon is an absolute menace to society. So yeah, that's gonna be that. And then I have a video planned for Hades as well, but that's a long way off. Alright, then... let's see. Cosmic Garo with Eyes of the Lord would be busted. He wouldn't overload since his nervous system would probably just adapt. Yeah, he could pretty much react to any attack and reflect it back, because the Adam's eyes literally reacted to a punch that was above time itself. So it would be absolutely busted for sure. What historical characters would you have chosen to partake in Record of Ragnarok? Funny thing is, in the anime they don't display the full list at all of humans and gods. They keep it a mystery, which I really like, because I could speculate then. Like, part of the fun was to see who was up next, what gods and humans would be picked. So, from the very beginning, I knew Leonidas had to be in there. I knew Adam was in there as well. And then Lubu was a fun addition. I knew quite a bit about him before even getting into Record of Ragnarok, so I probably would have chosen him as well. Then... see, the thing is, I know a lot more about various generals, like Napoleon, Caesar. You can get Robert E. Lee. You can get many of them pretty much. So like Stonewall Jackson and whatnot. So there's quite a few that I know of. But I don't really know as many warriors from history. So I probably would have gone for a similar list, maybe. I will say I love that, I absolutely adore that the White Death is included. You know, the guy who was killing a bunch of 500 Soviets in the Winter War between Finland and Russia. I don't remember his full name right now, but I love that he's included. Rasputin, I really hope, I really want to see how they handle him, because Rasputin is such an obscure and weird entity. So that will be really fun to see. I would have loved to see Miyazaki or Akira Toriyama join in as newer legends. I mean, if Akira Toriyama knows a lot of karate or something, that could have been fun. 10 Boroses with no stamina limits versus Blast. Blast blitzed and teleported an attack from serious Saitama. He's beating Boros no matter how many of him there are. In my opinion, at least. Moses versus Buddha or Zeus versus Jesus. GFOC versus the Word of God. I'm not even sure about what either of those are. I'm not sure what either of those franchises are. But Moses could have been a cool addition to the Record of Ragnarok cast. Goro versus Adam. I have a few One Punch Man versus Record of Ragnarok vids coming up, so I'll be saving those my thoughts on those matchups for later. I found an argument which gives about 70% of One Punch Man characters immeasurable speed. Could you please say what it is? Because that sounds very wild. Rasputin is the MC IRL. Bro, Rasputin is the weirdest guy. Or was, I guess. But I'll have to go soon, because I've been at this for 3 hours now. So yeah, I'll definitely be going in a few minutes. If you have any more questions to ask, then this is your chance, but I'll definitely be going in a few minutes. Because I've been going for 3 hours. Austrian painter versus Hercules? No. I know exactly what you're referring to, who you're referring to with the Austrian painter. The ultimate evil versus the ultimate good. Oh, God. Oh, imagine, though. Imagine if they actually put that guy in Record of Ragnarok as a fighter for humanity. Whew, that would have been something. But yeah, I'll probably go now. I'm not seeing any comments pop up, although that could just be the delay from chat. Hercules would need to change his view on humanity. Oh lord. Nah, he probably wouldn't. Probably wouldn't. He was in the presence of Jack the Ripper. I don't think he would change his mind. But anyways, that's gonna be it for me today. I really have to go now. It's 3 hours long. I need to go get some rest. So yeah, thank you all for watching. Thank you all for tuning in. And see you next time. Goodbye.